I will. Yes, thank you. Just.
I step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Alrighty then, it's a Tuesday morning. Welcome to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, the second day of 2018. How are you doing, Zoe?
Very good, very good. You're confusing
Very
people. It's
good.
technically the 9th day, but our second day.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yes, well, technically speaking, our second day back on air, and great to start the day off with you. And we'll be bringing you some inspirational content today, starting off with the highlights of last year's One Young World Summit that took place in Bogota, Colombia, where some of the world's youngest and brightest minds are figuring out the solutions to our problems.
Oh, and you know what? You go to the youth for that, which is unbelievable. And then, of course, Heidi performs on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, a song that's called Wat 'n Hart laat lach. It's a beautiful track.
What a heart makes laugh. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Looking forward to it. And then listen, if it was very, very cold, would you ever think about going onto the train like a subway without any pants?
No.
Pantless?
No,
you wouldn't?
I would double up on clothes.
This is what people do in New York. Apparently it's a tradition that's been carrying on for many, many years, and we'll take a look at that in one of our What's Trending stories. Why do they do it? I don't know. I'm not a New Yorker like that.
I'll keep my pants on, that's all I'm saying. And then, of course, you know what? A lot of people need some inspiration to feel optimistic for 2018, and that's just what we'll be bringing for you, so don't go anywhere.
Yeah, well, all the inspiration you need is right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. In fact, let's get the day underway and take a look at the temperatures all around our cities. How are you doing, Ewan?
Good morning, my man. Good morning, team. And good morning to you at home as well. Lovely to be hanging out with you on this Tuesday morning. Let's quickly start off with your temperatures. Today's forecast sees highs in the 20s and 30s in Gauteng with some expected thunder showers, but cooler temperatures on the southern coast with cloud cover for the Western Cape expected. Jou temperature op Polokwane 15 minimum vanoggend en 'n maximum 25 met 'n paar donderstorms in die area. Mbombela 16-21, Pretoria 16-27, Johannesburg 15-27, Mahikeng 19 en baie warm later vandag 36 grade. Klerksdorp 17-32, Kimberley 17 en 'n maximum 34, Bloemfontein 14-32, Richards Bay on 18 minimum with a maximum 22, Pietermaritzburg 13-21, Durban 19-24 and a couple of thunder showers expected as well. Mthatha 12-24, East London 14-21, Cradock starting off on a cool 8 degrees minimum, reaching a high of a warmer 26 degrees. Port Elizabeth 15-22, George 13-20, Sutherland on 10 minimum with a maximum 25, Cape Town 16-22, Worcester 10-29, Springbok starting off on 16 with a maximum 30, and Uppington starting off on 19, reaching a high of a hot 35 degrees. That's a wrap of your weather for the 6:30 bulletin. We'll keep you updated throughout the course of your Tuesday. I'm back just after 7 with another update.
Thank you, Ewan. Well, let's take a first look at your roads, and we start off in Gauteng in Melville. Now, a tree has fallen on Main Road at 7th Avenue. If you're traveling on that route, please make use of an alternative route to avoid delays. And then in the Western Cape, just a quick train update. On the Southern Line, there is sand on the tracks. That's between Fish Hoek and Simonstown. Now, a limited bus replacement service is in operation, so please make use of alternative travel arrangements this morning. That's where we leave your traffic for now. Another update coming your way in half an hour.
Efferflu C Immune Booster from Pharmadynamics. Effective, affordable healthcare.
All right, it is a Travel Tuesday. You'll see that hashtag trending all over social media. In fact, we wanted to ask you a question right now. Where would you want your next ideal holiday destination to be as we start off this Tuesday morning? Well, Valdine says, I would love to travel to Cape Town. Okay, there we go. Gwyneth says that to Vryburg there in the northwest. Can't wait for the Easter weekend trip. That's what's happening in her life. Wanda says that I would like to go to Cape Town. I've always loved that side of of the country. So a lot of people wanting to come to Cape Town. Garth says Thailand or the Maldives. Well, I hope you entered Tropical Island of Treasure. Let's see, who else? Oh, Priscilla, Hawaii. How about that? It's a far flight, like 24 hours sitting on an airplane, but I'm sure it's well worth it at the end of the day. But do keep sharing your hashtag Travel Tuesday or Tuesday Travel thoughts with us on our social media, and of course use hashtag Expresso Show.
Ah, so many beautiful locations, eh? Yes, for Travel Tuesday indeed. But listen, we keep it local right now. Firstly, after the break, we're going to take a look at all the highlights of the One Young World Conference that took place last year, empowering those bright young minds of the future as well. Bring all those highlights.
Leaders, indeed. And then, of course, music on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Heidi joins us in studio. Her track Wat 'n Hart Laat Lag is coming your way after the break.
Your feel-good breakfast show Expresso loves to wake up the nation with inspiration, meaningful conversation and a lot of fun. We're also proud that this entertainment and interaction goes beyond TV, and we connect with the Expresso family on social media. So we're proud to announce that Expresso has been named by Africa Brand Index as the #1 TV show on social media in Africa. Expresso has top TV shows across the continent for communicating with our audience on social media. And this achievement is thanks to having the most awesome fans on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter.
We would like to say thank you so much to our online Expresso family for helping us become the #1 TV show on social media. Oh, it means so much to us to be able to interact with you, and we thank you for being on this journey with us every single day.
Expresso is known for its feel-good stories, and what I love about social media is seeing the response to these incredible stories. It's really heartwarming to see people sharing their own experiences or relay how the story has inspired them. It inspires us to keep finding and sharing these feel-good moments.
I love when the viewers laugh with us, when something funny happens during the show. We speak to the camera and we have a laugh in studio, but it's great that the conversation really becomes a two-way thing when we get to read the viewers' response and they are laughing along with us.
You too can be a part of the #1 TV show social media family on the continent, where you can take a peek behind the scenes and let us know how you feel about topics and stories on the show.
So if you're not part of our social media community yet, what are you waiting for? Please come and join the Expresso family. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram and on Twitter, and we would love to have your voice join our daily conversations.
Don't miss Expresso weekday mornings 6:30 to 9 a.m. on SABC3. The stage is yours.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Yep, here we go with your Tuesday. Welcome to it. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here, Expresso on SABC3. What's happening in the lives of our local celebs?
There's a lot happening.
That's what we're asking.
There's a lot happening.
Really?
In fact, some of them are still living their best life because most of us, have started to get back to the work grind, but Dineo Moketi and her bae Solo are still very much soaking up the sun and the surf and the sea. They took to Instagram and shared some pictures of them, several photos of their getaway. Guess where they are? Yes,
Bali.
In Bali.
Yes.
Have you been to Bali?
No, I have not, but I just saw palm trees and it made me think of Bali.
How about Zoe? There's many other palm trees in the world.
No, but
that was iconic Bali.
I feel like I was there as well.
Anyway, they're celebrating.
Spell Bali.
They're celebrating their anniversary. So hililili and halala to them.
Awesome, man.
From swinging through the jungle to snaps by the pool. I think this is officially, we know why it's called a vacation.
Yeah.
This is exactly why. If your photos don't look like this, then it is not a vacation. Then it's just
a vacation.
A getaway. it's a long weekend. Anyway, from base to babies, quite literally, we want to say big congratulations to Siebenland's Theodore Jantjies and his girlfriend Tammy van der Merwe. The actor also took to Instagram this week to share exciting news of the arrival of their little one. Look at that beautiful picture, and we're still waiting for more photos and the name of the new addition to the family. But of course, the parents have always been sharing on social media about their love and how happy they are together. So yes, more hililili, halalala, wolololo.
Nice.
Beautiful stuff.
Congratulations to them. I feel like this is the year for babies, man.
Yeah.
Last year was the year for babies.
Well, last year we
like it's always a year for babies, guys.
This year the babies will arrive.
A baby's born every 4 seconds in the world. Did you know that?
Yep.
I feel like it should be quicker.
What do you even mean, Zoe? You feel like it should be quicker?
What are you trying to say about your policy on
Okay, that was our local entertainment news. And in 2009, the UK-based charity One Young World, it was founded to gather young leaders from around the world and to empower them to create positive change. Now, last year's conference, One Young World Summit, took place in South America, and it was a dazzling display of unity and hope for the future.
365 days have passed since the last One Young World. This year, in 2017, we find ourselves in Bogota, Colombia, where the best young minds and young leaders from around the world will come together to share their ideas with some of the most influential leaders of our time.
The annual One Young World Summit gives delegates the opportunity to formulate and share innovative solutions for the world's pressing issues.
The inspiration for One Young World was the absence of really good leadership, particularly in the government space, and also the values of the Olympic movement, which includes every human being, everybody in one family. In 2010, we had just over 800 delegates, and today here in Bogota, we've got over 1,350.
At a simplistic level, the key vision for One Young World is to find the next Mandela. There's a real vacuum in leadership in the world today, and we want to give the brilliant young leaders a platform that can help accelerate their growth and development.
This year's host city, Bogota, is the capital of Colombia and is a diverse, multicultural city with a rich history. A perfect backdrop to inspire young people.
For Bogota, for Colombia, and for us Colombians, it's great to have One Young World here. Not only because we have people from all over the world that are coming here to see how Colombia is different, is great, and is full of opportunities, but also because you can show people from all the parts in the world that we are a source of hope. That seeing youth in power, reconciliation, of building a new country and taking things forward is the best source of hope of our nation and for other nations that are now pointing Colombia and saying, if peace in Colombia after 50 years is possible, peace in the world is possible.
One Young World is an amazing platform for young leaders to drive change because it's this opportunity for our voices to be heard. There's people, for example, in Colombia with amazing, tremendous ideas that nobody has ever heard and that they just remain in ideas. One Young World is the perfect scenario to collaborate with other young leaders from around the world and especially to take those ideas and turn it into realities and also to scale up. I'm the perfect example with the Biz Nation. We are having tremendous results in Latin America and we feel that this productive education can be taken to all over the world. We have people coming to us from India, from Bangladesh and telling us this will be an amazing solution for the problems that we're having in our different countries. So I think this is the perfect platform to make things happen and not just have ideas.
It is so amazing. I'm awed with the number of young people we have here. I've been to a lot of youth summit, but this is the biggest I've been with such a huge number of young people, 1,000. You know, I told someone, I said, it's a rejuvenation time for me. I believe in synergy, you know. An African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you really want to go far, you have to go together. And coming here to meet other people doing the same thing, it reminds you that you're actually not crazy after all. I remember the quote of Kofi Annan when he said, young people should be at the forefront of global change and innovation. If we are empowered, it will be better for all of us. But if we are, however, left at society's margin, the whole world will be impoverished. The world will suffer for that. So I'm so happy for this platform that I could meet other people. I could hear inspiring stories. I could also tell my story. And for me, it's just not about a trip to Colombia. It is going further. The fight for justice continues. The demand for justice continues. And I'm inspired by other young people, and I hope I've also been able to inspire other young people. So together, we can actually achieve it.
Bogota bid firstly was an amazing bid, and that's the reason that they were chosen as a host city. But over and above that, there's such an amazing lesson that the world can learn from them. We love to bring One Young World to places that can teach a lesson to the world, and obviously the peace process that they've been through and the role that President Santos has played in that. And we think there's amazing lessons for the world all around peace and reconciliation.
I think that from the theme of peace and reconciliation will flow a lot of peace-building work around the world. Already we've seen projects today that are probably bigger in scale and more impactful than anything we've seen in the last 12 months.
With such positivity and innovative ideas, these young leaders are the vanguard of an exciting future for the world.
Yep, the future lies in our youth. I love this event, putting our future young leaders in the spotlight, responsible for taking things forward and growing our world.
It's a wonderful platform, and we've been teasing you the whole morning with some music. Kat, over to you.
So this morning we're joined by local talent Heidi, who recently released her debut album, brand new, called Wat de Hart Laat Lag, and she joins us to perform tracks from that album. In fact, here is the title track.
Is dan ek wag tot ek jou weer kan sien. Ek tel elke oomblik af, elke uur vir uur. Ek kan nie meer wag om my aan joune te hang. Ek en tyd is klaar met verlang. Wat hart laat lag. Tijd het niet tijd om zin te maken. Wat de hart laat lag is niet net woorden niet. Dus die glimlach tussen jouw hart en ziel. Wat de hart laat lag is niet net duidelijk uw gevoel, maar die waarheid.
Breakfast Show with Wat 'n Hart Laat Lag, the title track to that debut album that she's released this year. Baie welkom. Dankie vir die lekker musiek.
Dankie vir jou. Dis baie lekker om hier te wees.
Ja, so jy bly nou in Pretoria, jy
Ja.
toer in die Kaap, maar oorspronklik van Bloemfontein af.
Ja.
So dis 'n baie lang pad wat jy
Sou
gereis
sien.
het. So waar het jou musiek journey begin as ek dit mag vra?
Ek het regtig nooit eintlik geweet ek kon sing nie.
Ja?
En toe het ek en 'n vriendin dit letterlik uit die van uit. Toe begin ons om te sing en toe het ek in 2015 het ek 'n voorshow gedoen vir Heinz Winkler.
Wow.
En my pa het ja.
Dis 'n goeie begin.
En ek het my man, nee maar en hy het my pa 'n video geneem.
Ja?
En dit op Facebook gesit en toe sien die mense van Marula musiek uitraak. En ja, nou vandag bly ek in Pretoria. Ek doen dit voltyds, so ek's geseënd.
Fantasties. En vertel my gou 'n bietjie van jou naam want ek dink die eerste ding wat mense dink as hulle Heidi sien, dan dink hulle
En almal dink dit is 'n joke, is net 'n stage naam, maar eintlik is dit my eie naam, my regte naam. Ek is vernoem na Heidi in die berge, so toe ek 9 maande oud was, toe verander my ma my naam.
Oh, wow.
So ek wonder hoe lyk Heidi in vandag se tyd.
Daar is sy nou. Wel baie dankie vir die lekker
Dankie.
musiek en ons sien uit na nog daarvan 'n bietjie later. In the meantime, link up with us on our Facebook page and let us know what you thought about that performance.
I'll say thank you very much, Heidi. Hey, lovely, one of South
Lovely
Africa's
performance.
gems indeed. What's happening on our show? What's coming up
listen,
after
after the break, I think a lot of people need some motivation to be optimistic for 2018. Well, global speaker and book author John Sinai joins us in studio, and he'll be doing just that.
Always saying start your year off on the right note and it will be simply awesome. And then we delve into those stories that's trending on social media. One in particular that caught our eye, New York's pantless subway tradition. What on earth? We'll bring you that after the break.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
The water-resistant Galaxy S8, made for summer.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso, and time for us to take a look at all of the interesting, funny, and random things on the internet in our What's Trending report. And
Yeah,
we've been
so
teasing the whole morning.
We've been talking about this whole morning, and I'm trying to wrap my head around this as to the big question, why? But despite the freezing temperatures that's currently going on in New York, Improv Everywhere's annual tradition to go pantless on the subway continued in New York City, as well as other cities around the world as well. Now, hundreds braved the cold, and where it was really icy, they broke out in dance to kind of beat the chills. Check this out, really funny.
Look at that.
Would you partake in something like this?
I probably would wear a bikini bottom. I wouldn't know so much about wearing my own undies in public like that.
So this is obviously just having fun, I guess. Go pantless on the subway. Should we do a pantless Friday?
Let's not encourage that.
A pantless Friday, maybe, I don't know.
I don't think that would be approved.
I think it's just a lot of fun, man.
Well, it's a great tradition. It's fun to see everyone. I mean, I didn't see anyone there with actual pants on, so it's
all
fun
in
to
their
see
undies
that
is good fun.
everyone took part in that. Now, you know, bloopers part of life, and with the Golden Globes that wrapped yesterday morning, I think we have to pinpoint some of the most awkward moments. And the first one is probably one of our favorites, which include James Franco, who's hogging the mic during his acceptance speech, and that apparently was a very priceless moment. And then also from awkward clapping to awkward kisses, Nicole Kidman had a little bit of a fumble with her husband, Keith Urban.
Yeah.
And then I have to love Mariah Carey, because every girl has her good side. She even stopped an interview so that she can swap places so that it could be her good side.
Wow,
Yeah.
you know?
Very interesting.
Oh, but it was cool, man. The Golden Globes, I'm sure we'll still bring you around up as to what exactly went down, but it was once again very, very exciting. But that's what we have for you in terms of your What's Trending right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ewan, you can try Pantless Friday on your own first. Let's see how that works out, and we might then join you. Anyway, now quite often on the show we talk about the future of technology, about AI, robots, and all manner of kind of scary things. And it's easy to get overwhelmed by what the future holds, and often we want to turn a blind eye and just carry on with our business. But trend and innovation strategist John Sane travels the world empowering people with tools to future-proof themselves, as he refers to it. And he's also the best-selling author of a book called What's Your Moonshot, which is filled with great advice on how to thrive in an ever-changing modern world. And it's so great. If you haven't seen him speak live yet, follow him on social media and find out where he is, because it's well worth your time and money. But for now, we have him in the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, John is in the studio. Come on! Yes! How are you, man?
I'm fantastic, thank you.
It's so good to have you in studio after seeing you a few months ago when we were in Namibia.
That's right.
And I know the inspiration I gained from just listening to you talk for about a good 2 hours.
Thank you.
What was supposed to be 45 minutes.
Yes, that's right. It stretched a little bit, yeah.
But let's quickly talk about this concept of future-proofing yourself and what it actually means.
Right. So I think it's really imperative to understand that the future is so different to where we come from. And so what happens is our psychology often lets us down. It's effortless to be pessimistic about the future. Our brains are lazy. They get into habits about thinking about things in a certain way. And when you tell people that things are changing, our brain goes into this sort of lazy mode. So what we have to do is first and foremost understand this idea of, are we either victims of the future or architects of it? So we have to start with psychology and understand we need to shift our psychology to become optimists about the future. And that's very closely linked to exposing ourselves to the future. You see, a lot of people don't expose themselves to the future. They kind of see a little bit about AI, a little bit about blockchain, a little bit about autonomous vehicles.
But it's like 50 years from now, so it's cool. It's cool.
And then they get scared of it. So they kind of like don't want to look at it. And then that sort of process is a spiral downwards. If I don't look at it, I don't have the right psychology. If I do look at it, I get the right psychology. The more I look at it, I get the better psychology. So it's a very closely linked opportunity for us to look at these future in bite-sized formats with the right psychology, and then all you can be is prepared and be more relevant and profitable in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when you say it's easier to be pessimistic because that doesn't require you to do anything. You can just stand your distance.
In fact, it's the most effortless thing to do, to say, that won't work.
Yeah.
Or, this is South Africa, it's never going to come here. Which is really a very bad way to look at it, because things are changing at such a rapid pace.
All the more reason for us to actually then read your book, What's Your Moonshot? Give us a bit of an insight into what we can gain from reading this book and how it can help us to not take that lazy off-ramp.
So I think if you ask anybody, are you a victim? And nobody says they're a victim.
Nobody wants to be a victim.
Oh, nobody wants to be a victim, but our internal dialogue often lets us down. So the first part of the book is really about getting to grips of what are the traits of a victim, because you get many different types of victims. So you get arrogant, superior victims who look at the change and have become quite arrogant about it and go, no, it's not going to affect me. Or you get a sort of martyr victim who feels sorry for themselves, that thinks, oh no, this world's changing so quickly. What am I going to do? Poor me. What about my job? And you fall into a trap of not having the power to want to change anything. And the second part is, how do you categorize and contextualize the future? Because there's so much happening.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you actually put it into little bite-sized formats and then start talking about these bite-sized formats? So the whole concept is very much based on JFK's speech in 1961, where he said, we will put a man on the moon, and he had no technology to do so.
Wow.
And 8 years later, there was a man on the moon. And in today's world, with all this technology available to us, we have the same power as organizations and as governments did many decades ago. Wow. We have access to millions of people, we have access to funding, we have access to ideas. we now can create moonshots for ourselves. We just got to get the right mindset.
Excellent. And I can't wait to chat a little bit more to you about the book and all the exciting things that you're up to as well. In fact, I want to encourage some of our viewers out there at home to engage with us on social media on Expresso Morning Show SABC3. That's our Facebook page, and also at Expresso Show on Twitter, and ask questions of this man. We have a limited amount of time before he flies off across the world to inspire more people, but it's so good to have you here, John.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Right now it's time for the news.
That's right. Thank you so much, Kat. Let's quickly take a look at your news headlines on your Tuesday morning. Starting off with the national news. Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi has announced that the listeriosis death toll has risen to 61, resulting in the Department of Health amending the list of notifiable diseases to now include listeriosis. Speaking at a briefing yesterday, the minister said genome sequencing was being carried out to shed light on the source of the outbreak, which was announced in early December last year. South Africa has recorded 727 cases since the beginning of 2017. Then a South African background screening company has urged high school graduates who fail to get places to study at tertiary institutions against faking their certificates to give themselves an edge in the tight job market. Last week, the Education Department announced a 75.1% pass rate in last year's school-ending matric examinations, but only a fraction of learners have qualified for first-year places in South African universities. The company adds that faking qualifications poses more risks to matriculants, their credibility and potential future employability. In international news this morning, French President Emmanuel Macron has urged Europe to take part in China's massive Silk Road infrastructure project, but warned against hegemony, saying that both sides should share the benefits. Macron is in China for a 3-day state visit designed to bolster economic and political ties between Beijing and the Eurozone's second largest economy. Improving trade and business relations is top of the agenda, with Macron leading a delegation of around 50 top business representatives to China. And lastly, Zambia has declared a curfew in Lusaka Township, badly affected by a cholera outbreak that has killed 58 people across the country since September 2017. The curfew in Kanyama, a densely populated slum of iron-roofed shacks and winding dirt tracks, began on Sunday and will run from between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Street vending and public gatherings have been banned in Lusaka to prevent the spread of the disease. That's a look at your news headlines for the 7 o'clock bulletin. We'll bring another update at 8.
Well, a very good morning to all of our sporting fans. Here's a quick update from the sporting world. South Africa took a 1-0 lead in the 3-match test series against India yesterday after claiming a 72-run win in Cape Town. India were eventually bowled out for 135 within 43 overs after South Africa posted 130 all out in their second innings. With the Proteas 1-0 up, the second test gets underway in Pretoria on Saturday. Now, one-day cup cricket continues today as the Warriors and the Knights go head-to-head in Bloemfontein. Both the teams are in desperate need of a win as they find themselves at the bottom of the log. The Warriors are fifth with 1 win in 4 games, while the Knights are 6th without a win this season. The first ball from today's match gets bowled at 1:30 p.m. at the Mangaung Oval. In footballing news, there is PSL action to look forward to tonight as Mamelodi Sundowns come up against Ajax Cape Town. Both teams will be looking for a comeback win as Sundowns fell to a disappointing 3-2 loss to Polokwane City last weekend, while Ajax lost to Maritzburg United by 2-1. Tonight's match kicks off at the Cape Town Stadium at 7:30. And finally, Brighton and Hove Albion moved to the next round of the FA Cup last night as they pulled off a 2-1 win over Crystal Palace. Goals from Murray and Stevens secured the win for Brighton to set up a round 4 clash against Middlesbrough. Now the FA Cup continues next week, Tuesday, with the third round replays as Chelsea tackle Norwich and Leicester entertain Fleetwood Town. And that's a roundup of your sporting news.
Well, let's take another look at the road, starting off in Gauteng in Melville. A tree's fallen on the main road at 7th Avenue, so if you're on that route, please use an alternative route to avoid delays. And then a quick train update in the Western Cape. On the Southern Line, there's sand on the tracks between Fishhook and Simonstown. A limited bus replacement service is in operation, so please make alternative travel arrangements this morning. That's where we leave your traffic for now. Another update coming your way just after 8.
All right, let's quickly take another look at your weather and those temperatures. And today's forecast sees highs in the 20s and 30s for Gauteng, with a couple of thunder showers expected in certain places. And then cooler temperatures are expected for the southern coast and cloud cover for the Western Cape. Maar ons hardloop vinnig deur na die temperature. Polokwane begin op 15 minimum vandag en dit styg na maximum van 25. Mbombela 16-21, Pretoria 16-27, Johannesburg 15-27 met donderstorms vandag, Mahikeng 19 en baie warm later vandag met 36 grade. Klerksdorp 17-32, Kimberley 17-34, Bloemfontein begin op 14, dit styg na 32 grade later vandag. Richards Bay on 18 a minimum with a maximum 22. Pietermaritzburg 13-21, Durban 19-24, Mthatha 12-24, East London 14-21, Cradock 8 and a high of 26, Port Elizabeth 15-22, George 13-20, Sutherland 10 minimum with a maximum 25, Cape Town 16-22, Worcester 10-29, Springbok starting off on 16 with a maximum 30, and Uppington also a hot day expected, 19 minimum with a maximum of 35 degrees. That's a wrap of your weather for the 7 o'clock bulletin. Last update heading your way just after 8.
Well, so while Zoe's comment about the frequency of babies being born might trend a little bit later on, what is trending right now is the test match South Africa played against India, which of course concluded yesterday. Let's see what some of the people had to say. Harsh Raj saying, no Dale Steyn, rain-affected play, a meager lead of 200, and yet South Africa have managed to bring India to its knees. Now that's a world-class team. Come on, the Protea Fire. This one just had me on my knees. Oh, wow. A very disappointed Indian fan here saying, when I die, I want Shikhar, obviously referring to Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma, to lower me into my grave so they can let me down one last time. Oh, the pain, the pain. So the John Arthur here saying test match cricket is brilliant. Forget the Ashes. SA versus India is where it is at. Keep sharing your thoughts with us about all the things that you find interesting and trending online using hashtag Expresso Show.
Right, quickly take a look at what's happening on your Feel Good Breakfast Show after the break. Your daily tech update, and a rather interesting one, how a wristband turns your finger into a speaker.
Sounds interesting. I feel
Wow.
like a secret agent.
Hello. Yeah.
And then runner-up to Mrs. South Africa, Olwetu, joins us in studio. She's going to be hanging out with us the entire morning, and we'll get to pick her brain about some exciting projects that she's currently working on. So we'll see you after the break.
Your feel-good breakfast show Expresso loves to wake up the nation with inspiration, meaningful conversation and a lot of fun. We're also proud that this entertainment and interaction goes beyond TV, and we connect with the Expresso family on social media. So we're proud to announce that Expresso has been named by Africa Brand Index as the #1 TV show on social media in Africa. Expresso has top TV shows across the continent for communicating with our audience on social media. And this achievement is thanks to having the most awesome fans on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
We would like to say thank you so much to our online Expresso family for helping us become the #1 TV show on social media. Oh, it means so much to us to be able to interact with you, and we thank you for being on this journey with us every single day.
Expresso is known for its feel-good stories, and what I love about social media is seeing the response to these incredible stories. It's really heartwarming to see people sharing their own experiences or relay how the story has inspired them. It inspires us to keep finding and sharing these feel-good moments.
I love when the viewers laugh with us, when something funny happens during the show. We speak to the camera and we have a laugh in studio, but it's great that the conversation really becomes a two-way thing when we get to read the viewers' response and they are laughing along with us.
You too can be a part of the #1 TV show social media family on the continent, where you can take a peek behind the scenes and let us know how you feel about topics and stories on the show.
So if you're not part of our social media community yet, what are you waiting for? Please come and join the Expresso family. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. And we would love to have your voice join our daily conversations.
Don't miss Expresso weekday mornings 6:30 to 9 a.m. on SABC3. The stage is yours.
My life motto is to really play a positive role in the lives of somebody else. I am just a very optimistic person. I always love it when people feel good in my company. And I really love my job because I just feel I'm coming alive when I work with people. I think this is just who I am, and that is just complementing my personality to be out there and communicating with people, empowering people. I'm a person who believes in empowering people. Nursing wasn't my first choice. I actually wanted to go into the business world. I applied for a business opportunity, and then posts actually opened up at the Saleh Dolly College at Tygerberg, and I applied because I wanted a job. I have an aunt. She actually died recently of breast cancer. She was a
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is a beautiful Tuesday. Thank you so much for starting the morning off with us. Let's quickly update you on some of the latest news from the world of tech. It seems Samsung has entered 2018 all guns blazing. And it's not even, 2 weeks into the year yet? But this past weekend, they unveiled what is quite easily probably the most ridiculous television ever created. Now, it's called The Wall. Sounds very Trumpy. The Wall. And it measures a whopping 146 inches diagonally. That's about 3.7 meters from corner to corner. That's what it looks like over there. Now, what makes this really interesting is that it's the world's very first modular TV, which means it's made up of smaller modules that can be connected together. So this means that the consumer out there will be able to customize the size and the shape of the television to their specifications. And it's also it's making use of something called micro LED technology, which means that even at that large size, you'll still be able to get crisp picture, which is rich in color. So, I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
I love the direction technology is going in.
There's no word yet on when it'll be released, but I'm sure you can start saving now.
It's going to cost a penny. I'm pretty sure that's going to come with a hefty price tag. Well, something quite interesting as well is a company called Signal from South Korea. They've designed a smart wristband that's capable of turning your finger into a speaker.
What do you mean?
Basically, it connects with your phone, and when you receive a call, you simply hold your finger up against your ear, and the wristband then sends vibrations along your wrist that allows you to hear the sound through your fingertip. Now, it also acts as a fitness tracker like most smartwatches, and apparently it will also be released to the public in the next few months. We're talking about technology that's coming out in 2018, and all I can say is, with technology taking off, it's definitely going to help the FBI agents at least blend into public. We'll all look like we're walking around like this, receiving messages from the White House, like, yes, President.
I'm going to ask John about this later on, because I want to know if it really turns your finger into a speaker, or whether the sound really comes from the wristband and it looks cool to do this. You know what I mean? Like, hello?
But then you put your wrist to your ear.
But exactly, but then they mustn't tell us it's the finger turning into, like, are there holes in my finger now? What's going on? No. Well, I don't know. Maybe the technology does work that way. It, like, goes into your veins or whatever.
We'll have to wait and see until it's officially released and someone can test it out. You can be our guinea pig for that.
But we do this every day anyway.
I know.
Hello?
Mr.
Yes?
Producer is
yes,
on our
hello.
ear right now. Okay. Well, that was our daily tech update for you this morning. And something that I love every single Tuesday that we do on your Feel Good Breakfast Show is our labor of love, people that really go above and beyond their job titles.
My life motto is to really play a positive role in the lives of somebody else. I am just a very optimistic person. I always love it when people feel good in my company. And I really love my job because I just feel I'm coming alive when I work with people. I think this is just who I am, and that is just complementing my personality to be out there and communicating with people, empowering people. I'm a person who believes in empowering people. Nursing wasn't my first choice. I actually wanted to go into the business world. I applied for a business opportunity, and then posts actually opened up at the Saleh Dolly College at Tygerberg, and I applied because I wanted a job. I have an aunt. She actually died recently of breast cancer. She was an excellent sister, and she motivated me. She actually told me about this position, and she was the one that really encouraged me to go into nursing. Having won this prestigious award is definitely an honor to me. I never thought that I would win an award like this, because I am a person who's more in the background, doing my thing, running around in the communities and trying to make a difference. But I never did it actually to get acknowledged, but it is a privilege, and it is also very humbling to have won this award out of so many employees in the Western Cape. I'm a person who really tries to go the extra mile for my communities. My role is to really be there on ground level. There's a lot of conflict resolutions that needs to be done, so I have to really take people's hands. I'm the person who really goes in there, and even if I have to go more than what I'm supposed to go in, I will go in. And at the end of the day, ensuring quality health care to our clients in the community. The challenges that I'm facing is that I think the hours in the day that I have is not enough to do everything that I'm supposed to do, so I have to prioritize. My advice to those who really want to go into nursing is make sure that you really want to work with people. You must be willing to communicate with people, go down on the level of your people, because you can't talk high medical terms with somebody who don't understand it. And you must have a passion and a compassion for your job, and you must have that drive to make a sick person better at the end of the day.
That was your labor of love this morning on your Feel Good Breakfast show. And just this morning, we're also joined by the lovely Olwethu Leshabane, a former Mrs. South Africa First Princess and also the founder of the Red Wings Project, and here to chat about her inspirational projects. Welcome, Olwethu. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Zoe.
You know, I love it when you hear people, individuals doing pageants and then starting their own projects and taking that platform to the next level. Tell us a little bit more about your Red Wings Project.
So Red Wings Project was founded on the back of, there was a family my husband and I assisted in an underprivileged community, which was close to where we stay. And we actually discovered that in that, in the setup of the family, which was 6 grandchildren and a grandmother, the young girl had started her period but didn't tell the grandmother, and she only had one underwear, so she stole the next door neighbor's underwear off the line. And she was wearing it, and she was found out. The grandmother disciplined her in public, in the middle of the street, and we discovered this girl started her periods, and she was embarrassed to come out. She was embarrassed to talk about her periods. She was embarrassed to say that she needed sanitary products. So my husband and I looked at each other and we said, clearly there's some ignorance going around. Let's do something. So we started the Red Wings Project, and it's actually been quite a journey, and we realized that it's more than just the sanitary products in isolation. It's more, it's about menstrual hygiene, it's about feminine hygiene, it's about looking at females in the holistic, sexual harassment, owning our bodies and owning ourselves as women.
And I think it's a conversation that we shouldn't be scared to have. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Now, how does the Red Wings Project, you know, raise awareness, collect and distribute the sanitary towels?
So we have chapters in different universities. So a lot of these chapters are volunteers. I love this picture.
I love it too.
These chapters are volunteers. So from universities that come together and they say we're collecting sanitary pads, and then we just allocate it to certain high schools within the area close by to the universities.
Now, is there, I mean, listening to this, you looking at the pictures, you're proud of them and it's beautiful moments to see. Is there anything that stands out for you, like a success story that you can share with us?
I think every single time we drop off at a school is a success story. It's one less girl not staying away from school because of not having sanitary products. It's one, every time we clean a toilet in a school, it's one less girl not missing out on school because the toilet is clean and they're able to have their menstruation while at school and have a productive schooling life.
I really, really love that. And how can people get involved? How can they be a helping hand and you really say, you know what, I want to be part of this. I want to help Red Wings project.
I think in 2018, more than anything, we want to reach out to every single individual on the street, to every single corporate out there to say, do contact us so that we can transform more schools, clean up more school toilets, distribute more pads into these schools and keep girls within schools and away from the streets. We know that when girls are on the streets, they fall pregnant and they fall on the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep these girls within school and help them to be productive members of society in the future.
And make these things accessible to them and easy for them.
Please.
Well, Olwethu, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And she will be hanging out with us, so don't go anywhere. And if you'd like to know more about the Red Wings project, you can visit their website. It's redwingsproject.com. It's currently on your screen, and you can also follow Olwethu at Olwe2 that's on social media, and she'll also be spending the morning with us. So stay tuned right here to your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
These guys were totally doing the Macarena.
I
don't know why.
2018, you heard.
What?
It's coming back, didn't you know?
What did you just say?
Me mid-laughing at myself for doing the Macarena. 2018.
It's making a comeback. It's making a comeback. Listen, so the real reason JP is here, not to do the Macarena, of course, it's to talk about some of the best speciality films that you need to watch whilst doing the Macarena.
And if you think that you need to travel as far away from JP as possible, and traveling is one of your New Year's resolutions, and we bring you some of the top destinations to see all around the world in 2018. We'll be right back.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on SABC3. It is a Tuesday morning. We're hanging out with JP Sebastian. Welcome to 2018, sir. How are you doing?
Me and my two brain cells earlier. 2018.
That's all right.
I'm
not
good.
too
How are
worried. We only need two of them to work properly right now. Now, listen, we're talking about all of the latest movies that we can expect. Coming up at the box office, things to get excited about, especially with the Golden Globes having concluded yesterday, which kind of gives a bit of a prediction of what we can await. Yes, whether your popcorns are really worth their salt.
Mine are usually stale.
Okay, let's talk about Lady Bird. There's one movie we have to look forward to.
So this is the second movie only for Greta Gerwig, who is the director. And what I'd say at the outset about this movie is that, you know, the website Rotten Tomatoes. So it aggregates a score in its own specific way. Lady Bird knocked Toy Story 3 off the top for it was 2 weeks, rated as the freshest movie of all time.
Wow.
It's a coming-of-age story starring Saoirse Ronan, who won Best Actress yesterday at the Golden Globes for That's Musical and Comedy. And her relationship with her mother, her being this strong-minded, single-minded, strong-willed, independent person. And I think that's the thing. While it's a story of a young lady growing up, it's also just a very heartfelt and light comedy as well, about a human being.
Yeah.
Irrespective of, what kind of stereotypes you think teenage girls are like and whatnot.
Okay.
But Greta Gerwig, she is an actress before anything else and does just an amazing job of this. And like Natalie Portman said, kind of weird that she was not nominated as one of the all-male directors last night.
All right, then let's talk about the next movie directed by Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo, I had to learn that.
You put like 4 R's in there. Like put on R's.
The Shape of Water.
Guillermo del Toro is the gentleman who you were getting excited for, remember, in Pacific Rim.
Yes, Pan's Labyrinth. Still blows my mind a little bit, like leaves me with a kind of...
It's left of field, and you're not ready for the kind of stuff that goes down in there. In Shape of Water, however, it's not as big necessarily as Pacific Rim, but it's actually a love story between a monster and a lady. Mute lady, Sally Hawkins, she plays a janitor, she's a mute, like I said, in a secret government facility. She finds out one of the projects of the United States government is this fish man that they're trying to possibly weaponize, and that the Soviets want as well. So there are these huge, large forces that want this thing for themselves for vicious reasons. These humans who are acting like monsters, and a monster that she sees humanity in. She falls in love with this fish man, and you can trust Guillermo del Toro. He does these really, it's so delicate, the way he treats things that we usually think are ugly and think as other and whatnot, and he's like, find something special in them. Apparently it's beautiful to watch. We'll only get it next week, actually.
All right, what about Phantom Thread?
Phantom Thread by one of my favorite directors of all time, Paul Thomas Anderson, the guy who did There Will Be Blood, The Master, Boogie Nights, and with Daniel Day-Lewis again, who he also had in There Will Be Blood. One of the best, no doubt. This will be his last movie, according to him, which I will not allow.
Daniel Day.
This is a sit-in. I'm not going to move from this couch until he resists that temptation. But he is a designer, or a fashion designer, in this movie, and he finds his muse, who throws his clockwork lifestyle out of whack. He becomes almost like on fire with inspiration and almost throws him out of control and whatnot. But what a great movie director Paul Thomas Anderson is. What an eye. Johnny Greenwood does the score, favorite band, Radiohead. So I'm in heaven.
I can already see you are just within your element there. And then this one, which left Hugh Jackman frowning while James Franco was making the acceptance speech yesterday. The Disaster Artist, of course, James Franco winning that award yesterday at the Golden Globes.
Disaster Artist is something very special, and I'm going to prepare South Africa for it very carefully, because I don't think a lot of people have seen the movie it's talking about.
Okay.
It's a movie about a movie called The Room, which is de facto the worst movie of all time.
Wow.
It's horrible acting, horrible writing, horrible directing, and it's all done by one guy who James Franco is playing, called Tommy Wiseau, who's this odd dude who no one knows the origin of. No one knows where he got the money to make this amateur movie. No one knows which country he comes from. He has this weird accent, and he's like, you're killing me, Martha. Oh, no, not her name.
Why are you trying to make him sound German?
No, that's his accent. He acts in American movies, but he's like, oh, hi, Mark. Are you having a good time? But
okay.
It's what's amazing about The Disaster Artist is it looks like it's not just ripping off the dude. There's something so special that we all fall in love with. I think I see all the cameramen nodding. It's a cult classic, The Room, for how bad this movie is. And they do it justice for how special it was to the people who made it. It's a weird thing, but it's a labor of love.
So clearly the Academy Awards are going to be very, very interesting.
He won Best Actor for it last night.
Exactly, and he directed this as well.
Does so well.
Seems to be the new trend, being director and actor. The new double threat.
They're all learning from Tommy Wiseau.
JP, thank you very, very much. We look forward to sharing more movie moments with you in 2018. And if you do check out any of these films, let us know what you think about them. Of course, interact with us on our social media platforms using #ExpressoShow.
Right, so from movies to some healthy snacks. Amy is back in the kitchen. Lovely to have her back.
Happy to be here, and Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year to you as well, may it be a brilliant one. And starting it off on this healthy note is definitely the right way, I would say. Healthy snack bars or seed bars.
That's
and look at these
right.
guys, they look dangerously healthier, right? They're like, what is that? What is it? That is brilliant. So we're going to show you this is the perfect to pack in for lunch snacks, even for the youngsters to school when it starts. So Amy, do take it away. How do we make these delicious looking bars?
So basically they're packed with seeds and nuts, and we've got, as you can see here, we've got a whole lot of different seeds. We've got flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, and chia seeds.
Right.
And those all have beautiful essential oils, good proteins. We've got some lovely nuts here as well, extra protein. We've got some almonds and pistachios and some cacao nibs, which are like, basically it's the raw chocolate, little crunchy pieces.
Yes.
And those are really, really packed with antioxidants. We've got some hemp seeds over here, which is also a really powerful antioxidant. So a lot of energy boosting, protein packed, yummy things going on.
Okay, there's a lot of seeds going on,
yes. Our base is basically made with oats, so that's really cool as well because that's super filling, it's low GI, and the whole idea about these beautiful seed bars or breakfast bars, as you call them as well, is you can have them on the go if you're having a busy morning, have them for the kids' lunch boxes. They're kind of a breakfast replacement, and then obviously also if you're having a big busy day, you can have them as a snack. So what we've
by the look of it, it's gonna fill you up quite a lot. If you eat one of these,
Definitely.
How do we do this?
So what's a great idea is I make normally a batch of these on a Sunday, and then you can kind of have them for the week, which is really helpful. So in here, we've just got a tiny, about half a handful of dates, which we've had stirring and soaking in some soy milk, just to soften them down a little bit more. This is a completely egg-free recipe. So basically how we bind the seeds and nuts together and oats is through the dates and soy and some mashed bananas, which I'm going to ask you to mash for me right now.
I'll get mashing right away.
So that's about 2 to 3 bananas, obviously depending on the size of your bananas. And it creates a beautiful kind of sticky mixture which really holds everything together. Again, bananas are packed with beautiful nutrients, lovely antioxidants and potassium, so great for when you're exercising.
That's it.
And if you can mix a little bit of soy milk in there as well, you can obviously use almond milk or just regular milk as well.
How much
soy
do you
milk's
need?
a great replacement. About half a cup, so a little bit more. Perfect.
That's
so I'm going to start just mixing these guys into the oats, so you can just really chuck it all in. So we've got about as you can see, about a handful of the nuts each here, and a whole lot of our different seeds. Seeds offer different kinds of crunchiness and flavour. I'm going to just reach over here, and if you can possibly pass me a couple of those bags.
I can.
So we're going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of each of these seeds.
Brilliant.
And there we go.
So if you want to get your hands on the recipe, it will be on our website, expressoshow.com, a little bit later on today. Go check it out. Brilliant way, I think, to start your day, to fill those lunch boxes, healthy snacks as well, and of course packed with brilliant nutrients.
There we go. So we just kind of put those in. So the dates obviously give a little bit of that natural sweetness.
That's
and the bananas as well. So we just kind of give this a little stir. As you can see, everything's starting to soak and stick together. And then if you don't mind pouring that beautiful mashed banana in here.
That smells great with that dates.
It's lovely. And I love how the different nuts obviously give the different beautiful colors. You can also add things like goji berries into the mix. You can add cranberries if you like a bit of extra sweetness and that lovely red color. And if you don't have all these amazing seeds, if you can just kind of get 2 or 3 different varieties in, your pumpkin seeds and flax seeds are probably your best kind.
Brilliant.
So as you can see now, it's starting to get lovely and sticky. Just want to mix it together until it all just blends.
Obviously the oats will also now help, just soaking up all the moisture.
Exactly. And then what we just do is you take a little brownie tin and you just line it with baking paper, and what we're going to do is pour the mixture into here.
Go for it. You do that. The keyword is snack. If you want to get your hands on the recipe as well, there's another way for you. Snack is a keyword. SMS that to 33728 and you'll get the recipe and a link sent straight to your phone.
Look at that.
So now it's just about letting it set.
Exactly. So you put it in the oven for about an hour or so. What I normally do is cook it and put the oven quite high, about a 160, 180, then turn it down immediately to about 120, and you cook the guys for about an hour and then turn it up a bit so they get a nice long slow cook and they get this beautiful golden touch on the top, and then you know they're ready. They are meant to be this beautiful kind of dense, gorgeous seedy bar. So as you can see, like really lovely and definitely going to keep you full for long.
Amy is sorting us out. The start of 2018. SMS the keyword snack to 33728. Amy, thank you very, very much. We're going to get these guys in the oven because I am taking some home. Definitely I am. Snack is the keyword. SMS that to 33728.
Clover Good Hope Soy Milk. Soy goodness naturally. Made with love by Clover.
Made with love by Clover.
Now listen, if traveling is one of your New Year's resolutions, then we have just the thing for you right now. The best destinations to visit this year as chosen by Lonely Planet, of course, a very, very popular list there that lists the top 10 best countries to visit in 2018. And guess what? South Africa made it onto the list. Can you believe it?
Amazing.
Yes. And especially as we celebrate the Nelson Mandela centenary now this year, other countries that are also included on that list are China, Mauritius, of course, a favorite among South African tourists that go out there. Also Georgia, Malta, New Zealand, and Portugal. And as well as
Djibouti.
Yeah, Djibouti. Look at that.
Djibouti. Well, listen, if you don't know where Djibouti is, it borders Somalia and Ethiopia, and on the map, I'll say it's close to Yemen, but
there
it's
it
not
is.
really.
And
there
that's
we
the flag.
go. The Horn of Africa, right over there.
It is on the African continent.
And they're experiencing some incredible things at the moment, and it's slowly being ripped apart by 3 diverging tectonic plates, causing steam to spew from the desert and lake shores to sink in, leaving glistening salt crystals in its wake. Now, it sounds scary. It sounds something like the start of a disaster film, but actually, it is a very incredibly slow process. And if the whale shark and, the whale shark diving, the rich culture and the beautiful beaches aren't enough to entice you, then probably witnessing Mother Nature at her most spectacular definitely would. So I think that is definitely something to add to your bucket list to witness.
You got me at whale shark. When you said ripping through the core of the earth, it just startled me a little bit.
And I was like, so steam is coming out.
Okay, well, anyway. A place I've always wanted to visit is South Korea, which is, of course, known for all the sleek lines and futuristic modernity all about it in the capital city of Seoul. And last year, we actually saw them upcycle an unused elevated highway and turn it into what they call the Seoul Low 7070, a highline park with cafes, bars and libraries and all those kind of things. And in fact, South Korea will be hosting the Winter Olympics this year, said to be the coldest in a couple of years that the athletes will actually see. And I think, if anything else, it's the perfect excuse while you go and check out the Olympics to see the beautiful lush mountains and the scenery. I mean, look at these pictures. Who would not want to go to South Korea?
I love what they did, the Seoul all 7017. Like, imagine if they turned the unfinished highways in Cape Town into like a street pub.
a street pub?
Or like a market, a street
Zoe,
market.
where do you hang out on these weekends?
Okay, but last and certainly not least on this list is Chile. Now, Chile is a wonder surrounded on all sides by magnificent feats of nature such as the Andes, the Great Pacific Ocean, and the vast and dry Atacama Desert and the wilds of the Patagonia. Now, Chile is breathtaking and a little magical for how isolated and hidden it really is. So you do want to add this one to your list as well. And it's no wonder that Chile is also, this year's #1 best country to visit, according to Lonely
I watched
Planet.
a series called Wild Patagonia, and nature at its absolutely most spectacular and beautiful. So there are a couple of ideas of where you might want to travel in 2018 if it is indeed one of your New Year's resolutions. But share your #TravelTuesday thoughts with us on our social media. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we talk international entertainment news and more futuristic and future-proofing yourself chats with John Sane.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. It's your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. Hope you are doing well. I hope you're doing well.
I am.
Are you doing well?
I'm doing well.
Oh, yeah, I can see you doing well.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Okay, listen. International entertainment news.
Yeah.
What's on the cards?
Good things, I guess, for Gwyneth Paltrow and Brad Falchuk, who, of course, there was a rumored engagement going on. People whispering, well, it seems we may have called it right. In a statement, the couple confirmed their engagement, saying, quote, "We feel incredibly lucky to have come together at this juncture in our lives." Well, no details as to when they plan on walking down the aisle, but at least rumors suggest that Gwyneth's 2 children, Apple and Moses, will, of course, that she had with former husband and Coldplay frontman Chris Martin, will feature at the wedding.
Okay.
Begging the question, do you think that Kristen will be there with the kids?
I feel like they have a very friendship, I feel like they didn't split in a way where they're angry for each other, so I won't be surprised if he gets invited to the wedding.
I mean, they're that conscious uncoupling, isn't that where the phrase came from?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know if are they still like great friends post-divorce. We don't know, but I don't know if having your ex at your wedding is a very good idea.
Who knows? Maybe he's going to perform. Adventure of a lifetime. Adventure of a lifetime. You see, there we go. I don't know.
With all those melancholic Coldplay songs, could you imagine at the wedding?
Yellow.
And then oh my gosh, look at the stars.
This is why you guys shouldn't be planning the wedding.
We'll stay away. Anyway, talking about exes, that's exactly what Lena Dunham and longtime BF Jack Antonoff have become. According to multiple reports now, the couple have called it quits after 5 years together. 5 years. Well, sources add that the decision was mutual and that they were growing apart. I guess one of those conscious uncoupling things once again. Yeah. Now, Lena and Jack first began dating in 2012 and after being set up on a blind date. So I guess now the shades came off and they could now see the love was not blind anymore. Well, it was a blind date. Maybe the blind date carried on for 5 years.
Okay, no, I don't think it's like that, but sorry to hear about their split.
Are you really sorry, Zoe?
I don't know them, so... Just being polite.
I love it. Anyway, that's the latest I have for you guys.
Your international entertainment news. Well, listen, every year the One Young World Summit takes place, and it's a great way for forward-thinking institutions, NGOs, young individuals to get together and really solve or come together to come up with solutions with some of our most pressing issues. And what's really incredible is that Africa also has quite a few spaces on that stage, if I can put it that way. But here are some highlights.
At the annual One Young World Summit, young leaders gather from 196 countries across the globe, and Africa's delegates were both diverse and inspiring.
Kaya, it's so awesome to be able to meet up with you in Bogota, Colombia at the One Young World Summit. You're doing some incredible things back home in South Africa. Tell me a bit about that.
I have an organization called The Young Catalyst. You can actually visit the site. It's www.theyoungcatalyst.co.za. What we do is we ignite tomorrow's leaders, and everything that we do is encapsulated in that. So we're trying to solve 3 problems within the country. We know that the education system in the country needs some work, specifically in the maths and science field. So next year, I'm looking to start a Maths Guru initiative where I help high school students with mathematics through extra lessons, and then we want to expand it as well and hopefully include technology in that equation. I recently relaunched the brand, so it's quite fresh. And then in terms of entrepreneurship, we'll be holding a seminar in March, and in that seminar, basically, it will all be about helping these young startup businesses develop a really good business model, which will help them develop revenue and hopefully employ more people. I felt like it's very important that I create a platform which actually encourages and celebrates young people. So I would celebrate young people who have startups which they're doing, so young entrepreneurs. People aren't really celebrated because most people are celebrated once they make it big because of the passion that I saw from them. For me, it's about going for what you want. That inspires me.
What inspired me to be part of One Young World 2017 is I always wanted to be somebody who wants to make a difference. I run an NGO for matriculants in underprivileged schools, so basically helping them with ways to get into institutions of higher learning. We organize career days, so we invite our friends and colleagues from different backgrounds to come and just explain what they do in their daily life and also how to get to their professionals. Yeah, so we're trying to make a change.
I run a non-profit organization that works to end female genital mutilation, child marriage and forced marriage. We work mostly with young people and survivors of the practice. We believe that the biggest tool that we have is our own voice and our stories. And by working with young people, we ensure that FGM is ended in our generation. So it's that story of one girl, one generation.
To drive change in my community, I'm teaching children in schools how and why they have to protect their environment. For the simple reason that my country, Chad, is one of the hottest countries in the whole world. And it's one of the countries where the climate change is real. So I know that educating children is one of the main solutions that could help, people to get aware, about global warming and also to take the better decisions in the future.
Whether it's environmental issues or social upliftment, One Young World delegates are 18 to 30-year-olds who show leadership and commitment to positive change.
I started Presto Academy. We empower the top performing students in South Africa to create educational material for their peers. Our content is accessed through our online academy and through physical books. We've assembled the A-team literally, so each of our authors have received a high 90% or 100% in that subject for matric. The thing that inspired me to start Presto Academy is that we noticed a lot of our friends were struggling making the jump from high school to university. So we wrote the books ourselves and then we ended up getting it published, and we sold 250 copies of our economics guides at the University of Cape Town, and our accounting book became a recommended study guide at the University of Stellenbosch. Then from there we used that money to expand into the high school market. So moving forward, we want to expand our high school content and our life coaching for students to reach 1 million students in South Africa in the next 2 years. We then like to license that content to the rest of Africa and then partner with my fellow One Young World delegates to expand globally.
Through this summit, Africa's young change makers are able to share their innovative ideas and join a network of young leaders who are having a positive impact on our incredible continent and inspiring change around the world.
Well, certainly very inspirational stuff there coming from the highlights of the 2017 One Young World Summit. And equally so, the man sitting next to me, best-selling author of the book, What's Your Moonshot, John Sane, joins us to talk about future-proofing yourself and how to survive in this ever-disruptive world that we're living in, and how to make sure that you can survive with the storm that not is coming, is already here. John, that's what we were saying, right?
Rather than survive, let's talk about thrive.
I like that. I like that. So I want to talk first quickly about the work that you do as one of the first South African to be part of the Singularity University in America. Firstly, what is that and what do you do for them?
So Singularity University was set up by the head of innovation for Google, Ray Kurzweil, and Peter Diamandis, who's helped Elon Musk set up SpaceX, amongst many other different businesses. So these two gentlemen, about 15 years ago, got together and said, we need to start teaching the world and preparing the world for the future. And they set up a university on the same campus as NASA. In San Francisco 12 years ago. And what they've been slowly but surely doing is educating governments and organizations on what the future looks like. So what they've done is curated about 80 to 120 people from around the world with specialities in AI, blockchain, autonomous vehicles, and made them faculty members. And what we do as faculty members is move around the world helping educate organizations, working with seminars, events, workshopping, just getting people to become more comfortable with the future.
You're basically like a superhero.
I wouldn't so much
of the future in the present. You've come from the future to save us all in the
I think Elon Musk
present.
To be quite honest.
Possibly. But, I need to save up for one of those Teslas. Anyway, let's talk about robots. Are they going to be taking over our jobs? And if so, what can we do to thrive in that environment?
So, a quick check. Robots are already around us. Your washing machine is a robot. Your toaster is a robot. Your car is a robot to a certain extent. And what we've seen to think is that robots are only things with faces. Whereas if they don't have a face, they're not a robot. Of course they are. We are surrounded by robots already. These new robots will be more intelligent. They'll be very much better at learning than us. In fact, they often say that your left brain, your logical, language-specific space on your left brain will be replaced by robots, which is a fantastic opportunity for us to start focusing on creativity, self-discovery. So we'll start moving towards right brain arts and sort of social justice scenarios as we move away from having to be in survival mode, which is what the Industrial Revolution and left brain stuff does. When that starts getting replaced, we'll start becoming much more human, in fact.
Wow. You sound like you're making Black Mirror very much a reality of my life right now as I'm listening to you speak. But we're going to carry on with our chat shortly now, and I want you to think about this as well. And for parents out there, do you think, how can they future-proof their kids? What industries are viable for future careers? And then also about cryptocurrencies and how viable they are as investments right now. Because I am a big pessimist when it comes to that and cynic when it comes to that. But we'll talk about it very shortly with John.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. Thank you very much, Kat. Right now, we are taking a very quick break. Go recharge your coffee cups. When we come back, we take a look at some fun stories. And when I say fun, I'm talking about some of the dumbest inventions of 2017.
I'm looking forward.
We'll run you through that, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that list. And then, of course, more music coming your way from Heidi as she joins us this morning. We'll see you after the break.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso. And I love our daily tech updates. And 2017 saw some incredible inventions in the tech world. But this morning, we're going to take a look at some of the worst inventions for 2017.
That's it. The dumbest inventions for 2017. And I think it's absolutely great. So, firstly, the pause pod. Okay, the pause pod. Now, a team of inventors from Sweden actually created what they call the world's first private pop-up space that can be set up at home or in the office if you're looking to escape from the stress of life and just, take a nap. Okay, easy as that. So it has this feature called Night on Demand, which is activated when you kind of zip it closed, essentially just blocking out the lights. You can
Looks
see.
like a tent.
Yeah, so basically they've invented a tent with a price tag of around 1,500 Rand, which is more than double the price of a normal tent, which is more than double the size of the pause pod.
Antoinette says this is a tent.
Yep,
You
it's
invented
pretty
a
much
tent.
a tent that you kind of pitch in the office. Yeah.
Well, listen, there's also a rideshare company called Lyft. Now, they started a new service that they called the Lyft Shuttle. And here's how it works. A driver picks up a set route and repeats the route. In fact, it repeats the route throughout the day. Users can jump onto the shuttle at any point during the route and get off at any stop. Now, the idea was to create a more affordable and predictable ride sharing. Essentially, they created a bus shuttle.
Exactly,
A
just
city
like a
bus.
normal city
Yeah.
bus. All
Yeah.
right, very inventive.
Random.
And then, how's this one? 2 former Google employees founded what they thought was an innovative alternative to the corner shop. Now, imagine this. Instead of leaving your apartment block and walking all the way down the road to your local store to buy some milk, there was a contraption in the lobby filled with a bunch of various products that you can then purchase on an app on your phone and simply collect from the machine. So what they thought would change the retail game is pretty much just a vending machine, and what's worse is it aimed to put local smart business owners out of pocket.
It's basically a vending machine
It's-
that you operate with an app.
Yeah.
And also taking the cake and probably the worst invention for 2017, it is called the Juice Aereo. Now, this 6,000 Rand machine takes sachets of pre-minced fruit and vegetables and squishes the juice from them into a cup. Now, this startup raised a massive $120 million from investors, and once they realized and in fact released the teaser video online, people realized that the same result could be achieved by squeezing the bag of juice with your hand. So after a massive backlash from the public, Juice Aereo eventually shut down late last year.
Oh my word, really? That
$120 million was invested.
That takes the juice. That takes the juice. Okay, well, that's some of the dumbest inventions of 2017. If you have one that you want to share, please connect with us. Expresso Morning Show, SABC3 on Facebook, using that hashtag Expresso Show. But I think to put that aside, let's get some great music once again from our guest performer this morning, Heidi.
Back in studio, and it's time for some more music from the very talented Heidi, who's been sharing the music of her debut album with us this morning. And here she is performing Nou of Nooit Weer.
Ek kan nie hier op my vingers tel nie. Hoeveel keer was ek nie teleurgestel nie. Al van weer en weer. Al sien ek nie die einde in 'n wêreld saam, waar ons harte aan dieselfde tak kan hang, en die son sien sak agter die maan. Dan was ek elke gedagte van begin tot nou, waar ek elke ideale dag kan bou, en ek sê dit vir die eerste keer. Dis nou of nooit weer, elke gedagte van begin tot nou, waar ek elke ideale dag kan bou, en ek sê dit vir die eerste keer. Dis nou of nooit weer. Ek kan nie eers begin vertel hoe al die verlange my terugbring na jou toe. Ek vra vir weer en weer. Al kan ek nie die toekoms van ons voorspel, weet ek dit vooraf is al wat tel hier, want ek weet jy was by my die keer. Dan vat ek elke gedagte van begin tot nou, waar ek elke ideale dag kan bou, en ek sê dit vir die tweede keer. Dis nou of nooit weer, elke gedagte van begin tot nou, waar ek elke ideale dag kan bou, en ek sê dit vir die tweede keer. Dis nou of nooit weer. Dag na dag kan ek nie meer glo jy moes geval het van die hemel daar een kant sal ek vat, maar net op jou, want jy sal my tot die laaste aan vashou. Dan vat ek elke gedagte van begin tot nou, waar ek elke ideale dag kan bou, en ek sê dit vir die laaste keer. Dis nou of nooit weer, elke gedagte van begin tot nou, waar ek elke ideale dag kan bou, en ek sê dit vir die laaste keer. Dis nou of nooit weer. Dis nou of nooit weer. En nou of nooit
Heidi on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, dis nou of nooit weer. So wat inspireer jou as jy musiek maak en musiek skryf?
Mense, ek love dit om te skryf, baie keer gaan dit oor my eie lewe, baie keer gaan dit oor ander mense se lewens. As ek nie goed genoeg of 'n sad genoeg lewe het nie.
Oh wow.
Dan skryf ek oor ander mense se lewens.
En hierdie spesifieke song?
Hierdie spesifieke song het Emile Strooi vir my geskryf.
Ja.
Maar dit gaan maar oor, ek dink baie mense is die moeite werd om voor te wag, maar jy kan nie vir altyd wag nie. So dis of nou of is nooit weer, dan loop jy.
Sjoe, okay.
Ja, so mense moet maar hulle mind baie keer maar opmaak.
Alright, okay, goed. Ja. Vertel my gou oor hoe ervaar jy die musiekindustrie tot dusver? Want jy het nou in April maand van hierdie jaar jou debuutalbum uitgebring. Hoe is dit tot dusver?
Dit is baie lekker, dit is baie harde werk. En ja, vir die mense daar buite lyk dit soos maanskan en rose, maar dit is regtig, jy moet baie insit elke liewe dag. Als doen. En ek sing ook nou voltyd, so ek moet dit 'n lewe hiervan maak. So as ek nie sing nie, dan het ek nie werk nie, dan as ek bored. En so dis baie harde werk en dit is moeilik om daar buite te kom om soos 'n merkie te los. So ek probeer oral waar ek gaan, probeer ek regtig om 'n verskil te maak en die mense met my shows soos geniet. So,
ja. So waar kan mense jou shows kyk as hulle jou loopbaan wil ondersteun? Waar sê jy oral?
Ek is op Facebook en Instagram en Twitter. Mense kan elke maandag post ek presies waar ek sing, so hulle kan sien waar ek in die toekoms. Ek het vroeër die jaar het ek 'n Kaap toer gedoen en ek het 'n Namibiese toer gedoen. So ja, volgende jaar ek gaan weer Desember maand na Namibië toe. So mense kan my daar gaan volg. My naam is Heidi en op Facebook is ek net Heidi en dan op Instagram is ek Heidi_artist en Twitter is ek Heidi_artist. So ja, asseblief gaan volg my en sien waar ek is.
Dankie vir die musiek.
Dankie vir jou.
Do link up with us on our Facebook page and let us know what you thought about that performance.
Be sure to follow her on social media. Well, it's now that time of the morning for us to get into our official duties. The news headlines with Ewan.
Baie dankie Zoe, dis reg om kyk vir 'n laaste keertjie na jou nuushooftrekke op jou Dinsdagoggend. In die nasionale nuus, die minister van Gesondheid, Aaron Motsoaledi, het bekend gemaak dat die dodetal weens listeriose tot 61 gestyg het. As gevolg daarvan is die siekte nou 'n aanmeldbare een, het die minister gesê. Die getal bevestigde gevalle van listeriose landwyd het sedert die begin van 2017 tot 727 gestyg. Motsoaledi het gesondheidsorgpraktisyns versoek om alle gevalle van listeriose volgens die prosedures wat vir aanmeldbare siektes geld aan te meld. Dan 'n Suid-Afrikaanse agtergrond siftingsmaatskappy het matrikulante wat onsuksesvol was met hulle aansoeke om toelating tot tersiêre inrigtings gewaarsku om nie hulle sertifikate te vervals om sodoende hulle kans om die arbeidsmark te betree te verbeter nie. Die waarskuwing is gerig teen die agtergrond dat net 'n fraksie matrikulante vir plekke as eerstejaars aan SA tersiêre inrigtings gekwalifiseer het. Dit ondanks 'n 75.1% slaagsyfer in verlede jaar se matriek-eindeksamens. In die internasionale nuus vanoggend, die Franse president Emmanuel Macron het Europa aangemoedig om deel van China se sogenaamde Silk Road infrastruktuurprojek te word, maar het teen kontrole gewaarsku en gesê dat alle partye daaruit voordeel moet trek. Macron is in China op 'n 3-daagse staatsbesoek wat daarop gemik is om ekonomiese en politieke bande tussen Beijing en Frankryk te versterk. Die verbetering van handelsbetrekkinge is bo aan die agenda. En ten slotte Zambië het 'n aandklokreël in Kanyama, 'n digbevolkte krotwoonbuurt van Lusaka wat kwaai onder 'n kolera-uitbreking deurloop ingestel. Sedert September verlede jaar het kolera daar die lewens van 58 mense geëis. Die aandklokreël sal daagliks tussen 6 in die aand en 6 in die oggend geld. Straatverkope en openbare byeenkomste is reeds in Lusaka verbied om die verspreiding van die siekte op te slaan. En daarmee jou nuushooftrekke op jou Dinsdagoggend hier op jou Goedvoel ontbytprogram.
Well, let's take a last quick look at the headlines from the sporting world this morning. South Africa took a 1-0 lead in their 3-match test series against India yesterday after claiming a 72-run win in Cape Town. India were eventually bowled out for 135 within 43 overs after South Africa posted 130 all out in their second innings. With the Proteas 1-0 up, the second test gets underway in Pretoria on Saturday. Now, one-day Cricket Cup action continues today as the Warriors and the Knights go head-to-head in Bloemfontein. Both these teams are in a desperate need of a win as they find themselves at the bottom of the log. The Warriors are 5th with 1 win in 4 games, while the Knights are 6th without a win this entire season. The first ball from today's match gets bowled at 1:30 at the Mangaung Oval. In footballing news, there is PSL action to look forward to tonight as Mamelodi Sundowns come up against Ajax Cape Town. Both teams will be looking for a comeback win as Sundowns fell to a disappointing 3-2 loss to Polokwane City last weekend, while Ajax lost to Maritzburg United by 2-1. And tonight's match kickoff is at the Cape Town Stadium at 7:30 in the evening. And finally, Brighton and Hove Albion moved through to the next round of the FA Cup last night as they pulled off a 2-1 win over Crystal Palace. Goals from Murray and Stevens secured a win for Brighton to set up a round 4 clash against Middlesbrough. The FA Cup continues next week Tuesday with third round replays as Chelsea tackle Norwich while Leicester take on Fleetwood Town. And that's a final roundup of your sporting headlines.
On that note, let's take one final look at your roads. In Gauteng and Edenvale, there's a stationary vehicle on the N3 northbound. That's before the Modderfontein Road exit, so please keep a lookout for that. Then in the Western Cape Athlone, on the N2 inbound, there's been an accident before the Jan Smuts Drive. It's causing lane closures, so please be patient on that route. And that's where we leave your traffic for this morning.
Let's quickly take a last look now at your weather and those temperatures. And today's forecast sees highs in the 20s and 30s for Gauteng today, with thunder showers also expected in certain areas. Cooler along the southern coast, with cloud cover expected for the Western Cape today. Jou temperatuur vir die laaste keertjie, Polokwane begin op 15, dit styg na 25. Mbombela 16-21, Pretoria 16-27, Johannesburg op 15 minimum en 'n maksimum van 27 later met donderstorms wat verwag kan word. Mahikeng 19 en baie warm later vandag 36 grade, Klerksdorp 17-32, Kimberley 17-34, Bloemfontein begin op 14, dit styg na 32, Richards Bay 18-22, Pietermaritzburg 13 minimum with a maximum 21, Durban 19-24, and some thunder showers expected for your Tuesday, Mthatha 12-24, East London 14-21, Cradock 8-26, Port Elizabeth 15-22, George 13-20, Sutherland on 10 minimum with a maximum 25, Cape Town 16-22, Worcester 10-29, Springbok 16-30, and Uppington starting off on 19 and also a hot day expected, 35 degrees maximum later on today. That's a wrap of your weather and temperatures for your Tuesday morning.
Well, one of our very inspirational guests today is, of course, innovation strategist John Sane, and of course, best-selling author of the book, What's Your Moonshot? So we asked you what you think about the book, whether you'd love to read it, and here's what your comments were saying online. Macy says, yes, would love to, that very much. I need advice to thrive in a modern world. Well, then that's the book for you. Then she also said that I'd love to learn about blogging, YouTube channels, Netflix. As a creative writer in the Bundus, I think this will help me take my writing to the next level. Avuile says, where does he live? Where is he coming from? Well, he's South African, I can tell you that. He challenges what challenges are an author faces when it comes to writing. So I guess we'll ask him that question when we get to speak to him very shortly. And then Maria says, how totally awesome are his glasses? Nerdy swag. Kava, that swag right there. Interact with us on our social media pages using #Expresso Show.
Well, we love interacting with you, and it's that time of the week again where you've guessed it, we are traveling the world in our regular guessing game. Now, if you're a travel or geography lover, then this one is definitely for you. And you can show us your travel smarts by guessing where in the world this week's mystery city is. You can share your guesses on Twitter and Facebook with that #Expresso Show. But don't worry, apart from showing beautiful pictures, we'll also be giving you a few clues.
Absolutely. We want you to get it right, man. I just love Travel Tuesdays. Right, so here's your first clue. This morning we're looking for the name of a capital city in Central Europe, nicknamed the City of 100 Spires, known for its large castles, native beers, and long history as well.
Very, very interesting. And according to the Guinness Book of World Records, the largest castle in the world is in our mystery town, with an incredible area of 18 acres.
That is massive. Absolutely massive. Now, this capital city is also known for producing the world's best beer, with the average person guzzling around 160 litres of it each year.
Very, very interesting. And after the murder of John Lennon in 1980, a portrait of the rock star was drawn on the wall opposite the French embassy in the city. And until today, it's been known as the John Lennon Wall, always covered in quotes, images, and lyrics from his songs.
And there you have it, some great great clue. So what you need to do is try and figure out what is our mystery city. And if you think you know, go and comment on the post on our Facebook page at the Expresso Morning Show SABC3, and we'll see if you got it right a little bit later on.
Well, in the meantime, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we continue our chat with Mrs. South Africa First Princess Oluwethu Leshabane about the wonderful work she's doing to create a safer environment within our communities. And then another chat with JP Sebastian about the latest blockbusters that you can expect on the silver screen.
Rise and shine with your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, and enjoy moments like these.
Are they, in the pipeline, a trip to South Africa planned? Perhaps pictures on safari, the reunion?
Oh, okay.
Pictures on safari!
We've been trying to figure out the next one.
That would be awesome.
What is it? 13,500! Unbelievable! You got magic in your fingertips. That's amazing.
Don't miss Expresso, weekdays 6:30 to 9 a.m. on SABC3.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso on SABC3. Now, this morning we're joined by the lovely Oluwethu Leshabane, a former Mrs. South Africa First Princess and also founder of the Red Wings Project. And she's here to talk to us about the inspirational work that she does as well. So it's great to have you here, especially at the start of the year when we are planning our goals and we're all trying to achieve greatness in so many aspects of our lives. And one of which, where you're doing it quite well, is with your Red Wings Project. But I want to focus a little bit on your family and how they serve as a support structure for the wonderful work that you do, because you are putting yourself out there trying to help as many people as possible. How important are they in your life in doing that?
So important. They ground me so much. They're actually I think they've become my inspiration. I mean, when you're younger, you sort of aspire for certain things personally, you have dreams, you have, goals and aspirations. But they sort of come in and they take that all over and they become your inspiration and they become your goal is to make them happy.
Yeah, and so those boys aren't headaches, they're good for you, they keep you grounded, like you say. And talk to me a little bit about, your support for strong marriages, long-lasting marriages, and something that you call tolerance in marriages. Exactly what does it mean and why do you support it?
I think we have a very high divorce rate currently, and it's due to lack of tolerance in marriage. I mean, it's ups and downs. It's a relationship, much like the relationship you have with yourself. Sometimes you hate yourself, sometimes you love yourself. You can't exactly break up with yourself and, leave yourself. So for me, it's that tolerance. We tolerate ourselves. So my husband is, he's taken over the other side of my heart, and I need to be tolerant of him. I need to, sort of, he's not going anywhere. He's really not going anywhere. So we work through the problems that we have, and a lot of the time we sort of look at it as there's issues. So let's take a look at the issues and isolate the issue and deal with the issue, then deal with the person.
Yeah.
So he loves using the analogy because he's a football fanatic. He loves using the analogy. You don't play the person, you play the ball.
Play the game. All right. So tell me about, yesterday we were talking about couple goals and how that might be an important aspect of a couple's success in a relationship. Do you and your husband go through things like that? Do you set goals for yourselves in the relationship, goals individually? How do you manage that to be driven not only in your own individual lives but also in your relationship?
I think it's important to set individual goals and to also set goals as a family and goals as a couple.
Okay,
and it's
so there's
also
3 tiers of it.
Yes. And it's also very important to remember that where it started is the both of us. So we put each other first before we put the rest of the family, make the rest of the family a priority.
Yes.
So for as long as we're happy, the kids are happy.
And if they're happy, the family's
And if they're happy, the family's happy. And so it goes.
Is that what people can expect when they go onto your blog? I know it's called artofsuperwoman.com. What else do you have on your blog?
I've got, I talk about entrepreneurship, being a young mom, wife, and an entrepreneur. I also talk about change making. I also talk about kids, raising the kids. And it's tough. We've got 2 boys and another boy on the way. So,
it's raining boys.
So it's a lot of madness that goes on in our home. And my husband tends to be part of the boys too and also get up to mischief with them. So all that is shared on my blog, Art of Superwoman. And I talk about how we, blend it all together and we bring it all together and, you sort of go with the motion of life as a family.
That's absolutely brilliant, and we are so privileged to have you here this morning, inspiring us. So thank you so much for joining us and connecting with us. And of course, you can connect with Olwethu on social media, follow her blog, or tell us how she's inspired you this morning using #Expresso Show. She'll also be with us a little bit longer, so stay tuned as she shares more about her inspirational work.
Very, very cool. But also very cool to have Amy in the kitchen tossing limes and lemons. That's crazy. Listen, she brought us that seed bar recipe earlier on. I just tasted it. I'm still kind of...
You're still full from it.
It's a solid bar. It's amazing. Check that one out as well. But right now, a back-to-school salad jar.
Exactly.
Back to school, back to work.
Back to work.
Back to school. Guess we do the same thing, right?
Same thing, exactly.
Back to school. Anyway, so this is a great thing to kind of kickstart your healthy 2018 off on the right note.
I think one of the biggest things is we head back into the office environment and it's very easy to get back into old habits from the previous year, kind of eating unhealthy lunches or snacking the whole day on all kinds of junk food and things. So what I love is making a beautiful salad jar in the mornings, and you can literally take a beautiful container like this. It's nice and healthy, and you pile up a jar and then you add a dressing, and that is your beautiful salad for the day. You can share it with a friend, you can bring ingredients together, but it's a really nice, refreshing way to make sure that you have that combination of really good nutrients and obviously good filling food.
And you can use the jar again.
And you can
tomorrow.
keep recycling the jar.
Okay, let's put this together.
So basically what we've got here is a lovely mix of, it's more, I want to say like an Asian style salad. So we've got some beautiful baby spinach, we've got some coriander, Graham's not here so that's fine. We've got some lovely shredded chicken for a protein. You can also use, for example, some tuna. We've got some lovely crushed nuts like different almonds and hazelnuts. We've got some lovely shimiji mushrooms, which you just sauteed. I like using these. Yeah, shimiji.
Okay.
I love using them just because they look really cool.
Right, this is true.
And then we've got, for some crunch, some lovely sugar snap peas and some sprouts. And then we're going to layer the bottom with vermicelli noodles, which over here is what they look like raw. So if you don't mind just pouring some water over there.
So we got our water.
So we're just going to soak them in some water and a bit of soy milk, and that kind of gives us an extra creamy flavor. And you do that for about 5 minutes or so, just to let it get nice and soft.
So we're using our clover soy milk.
Exactly.
How much do you want of this?
So I want to add a little bit more. You just want to start almost, just get the guys half covered, and as they'll start absorbing the liquid, they'll start softening. That's absolutely perfect. So you set that aside for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then once it's slightly softened, you use that as the base of the jar.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is
let's start
put
layering,
cooked, soaked vermicelli noodles in here. You can, of course, use a rice flour version, which is then your gluten-free noodles. So I'm just going to layer the bottom of the jar for this. So this is kind of your carbs in your salad. So just put these guys at the bottom. The reason why I'm also putting them at the bottom is when we pour the dressing over, all that beautiful dressing will soak into those noodles.
Great.
Then we're going to add some lovely baby spinach.
Right.
And I love using baby spinach as a lettuce replacement in general because it's just really packed with your good antioxidants and folate. And there we go. And it's crunchy and delicious. So we just pile those guys in. Then I'm going to add some of our lovely shredded chicken.
Oh, and that looks lovely. If you want to get your hands on this, take your salad to work recipe. SMS the keyword salad to 33728. That's salad to 33728. We'll send you the ingredients and a link straight to your phone. You can also check it out on our website a little bit later on as well.
And our lovely shimiji.
Shimiji mushrooms.
I love these guys. They're amazing.
Okay.
And then our sugar snap peas. I just also think they're so gorgeous.
While you do that, can I make a dressing quickly? Yeah.
So do you mind just cutting this lovely lime and squeezing that lime juice into that jar? Okay. And then we're going to just mix that with a little bit of honey, some soy sauce. Obviously, if you want to do gluten-free, you can use tamari instead. A little bit of that Diskim Lifestyles cayenne pepper because I just love that buzz of
here we're going to put that
spiciness.
In there.
Just pop it in. Okay. Perfect. Little bit of honey, some spring onions.
Okay, right, just go over there.
Because that's when you make a dressing, any dressing, you've got to balance out your sweet, sour, salt, umami kind of flavor.
Right. I just want to rush you. We need to finish up.
Oh my gosh!
Some cayenne pepper. Yes, just a little.
There we go. Perfect. And that's done. And then finally, little crushed nuts, some coriander. I feel like we're speeding now.
We are.
There's our pack jar. Pop that guy in.
Oh, and that dressing smells amazing.
There we go.
And there you have it.
Lovely.
The keyword is salad. SMS that to 33728 and you'll be the coolest guy on the block in the office behind your desk with your salad jar.
Just look at that guy with all his lovely flavors.
I love that. Great idea. Check it out on our website, expressoshow.com. Keyword is salad to 33728. What a recipe. Put it there. Yeah, new year. Here we go.
Clover Good Hope Soy Milk. Soy goodness naturally. Made with love by Clover.
Made with love by Clover.
Well, when JP Sebastian's in the studio, you know we're talking movies, and since it's the beginning of the year, a new year, we're going to look at some of the big blockbusters set for release in 2018. JP, I'm very excited. I went to the movies in the holidays, and because it was so hot, I just needed the aircon. I saw a preview for Tomb Raider.
Yes, indeed. This is starring Alicia Vikander. And people might remember from Ex Machina, which was really good in. But whatever, that was a small movie. I think we got a yes from back there. Someone really liked that movie. Katleko is in love with it. Really good, right? Okay, I'm talking off camera. But so the story is her origin story.
Okay, so Angelina Jolie. I grew up with Tomb Raider 1 and 2 with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
So it's got. This is now the pre.
It's not that it has nothing to do with it. It's just those sort of more cheesy ones are in the future. Okay. This is like really gritty, and her starting from zero. She's got a minimum of skills and whatnot, but she's trying to get to this place where her father mysteriously disappeared. Okay. He has this message for her that this mysterious tomb might like lead to the death of the world, obviously, as things go. Yeah, Alicia Vikander is a really good actress. I feel confident that that raises the quality of this, because usually these video game movies, not so good. Like her man, Michael Fassbender, was in Assassin's Creed last year, and that was a nightmare.
You didn't like that one?
Even though I love him, but and I love her, and I hope that this delivers the goods. They shot it in South Africa, by the way.
Okay, very, very interesting. Let's talk about Ocean's 8.
Of course, we remember Ocean's.
Some of my favorite actresses is in it. Sandra Bullock, I love.
What a powerful cast!
I know.
Kate Blanchett is like she doesn't walk on Earth. Like.
And am I seeing correctly? That's Rihanna.
Rihanna, she puts in her work too. Helena Bonham Carter. Sandra Bullock is the lead in this. She plays Debbie Ocean. So that's George Clooney's character from Oceans 11, 12, and 13. His sister, who's also, got sort of like a mind for like, being a bit of a schemer, being a hustler. And she's just got out on parole. She lies that she's going to turn her life straight and whatnot. And then obviously she develops this old team that she used to have who run scams and whatnot. So what they plan to do is rob the Met Gala. Anne Hathaway, who is also amazing as an actress. She's got this jewel that they want to steal from $100 million worth. So it's the same, like, in Oceans, the previous ones, it's slick, it's quick, it's clever, it's beautifully edited and whatnot. I look forward to it.
I'm looking forward to this one as well, just based on the cast alone.
Really, really good cast. And Matt Damon's got a sneaky role in there too.
Okay, let's talk about Black Panther.
Black Panther, I've been way too excited for. I think someone else might have been excited. I don't know if he was sneezing.
No, he's very excited for this.
That would be his second sneeze. No, he really loves Black Panther, and so do I. I'm so excited that Ryan Coogler especially is going to be directing this. This is the guy who did Creed, the boxing movie, if you don't remember. Bringing back Michael B. Jordan as the enemy in this. The main guy, obviously, is Chadwick Boseman, who we saw in Captain America Civil War. And the story is that obviously we're starting again from after the Civil War. His father died, I think was played by John Carney, our South African man. And he has to go back to the African nation of Wakanda, this technologically advanced nation where he takes on the job of protector, and he has to fall into this like factional war between his brother for who takes the throne and whatnot, but the outside interests, and it's just, I trust Ryan Coogler and every one of these actors. Daniel Kaluuya was also nominated for Get Out, Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker.
They're all in this movie?
Yeah, this is a powerful cast as well. It's ridiculous how much pool they've got. Like, anyway, they're going to tip Hollywood's quota for the better in one movie.
And I think this one, a lot of people have been looking forward to Avengers coming out.
So naturally, Black Panther leads into Avengers. I think this one is June, so you'll have to wait a bit longer for that. Black Panther is February. And I'm not huge on these superhero movies. Like, I
love Avengers.
But when I do love them, it's usually Marvel that I'm going for. And also the fact that this is directed by the brothers who did Captain America Civil War, which I thought was one of the best action movies of the decade, even though I don't like these things usually. But in this one, as you can see, they've got Spider-Man coming on board. They've got Doctor Strange, who you just saw. Also, who are these actors? Good grief. Benedict Cumberbatch, obviously Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., Josh Brolin plays Angry Plum, Thanos to most people, and he's got to collect these Infinity Stones that we've been hearing about for movie after movie since I think it's like 2002. The Guardians of the Galaxy are in this as well. Thor is in this.
So they're really combining.
And how they managed to, like in Captain America Civil War, still balance the stories of 10 characters, and now they're adding like 8 more.
A few more.
They're probably, I can trust them to do a good job if they did such a good job on Civil War. So yeah, I don't need to tell the fans to be excited about this.
No, we're all excited. We're all excited. Can't wait to hear how many popcorns JP Sebastian's going to give each and every blockbuster that's set to be released for 2018. JP, thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Oh, where?
Yes.
Oh, wait. It's a lot, eh?
That's a lot, man.
It's a lot of superpowerage in one.
But you know what? A superhero movie is just awesome.
Absolutely.
It's just awesome.
You know what was also awesome? The Golden Globes that took place yesterday.
Awesome.
In fact, after the break, we'll bring you a full highlight package reel of all the awesome moments that happened.
Absolutely. And then we head back to the highlights of the One Young World that took place last year and talking about how social media is changing the future. We know how influential social media is nowadays.
One swipe at a time.
One swipe at a time after the break.
Your feel-good breakfast show Expresso loves to wake up the nation with inspiration, meaningful conversation and a lot of fun. We're also proud that this entertainment and interaction goes beyond TV, and we connect with the Expresso family on social media. So we're proud to announce that Expresso has been named by Africa Brand Index as the #1 TV show on social media in Africa. Expresso has top TV shows across the continent for communicating with our audience on social media. And this achievement is thanks to having the most awesome fans on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
We would like to say thank you so much to our online Expresso family for helping us become the #1 TV show on social media. Oh, it means so much to us to be able to interact with you, and we thank you for being on this journey with us every single day.
Expresso is known for its feel-good stories, and what I love about social media is seeing the response to these incredible stories. It's really heartwarming to see people sharing their own experiences or relay how the story has inspired them. It inspires us to keep finding and sharing these feel-good moments.
I love when the viewers laugh with us, when something funny happens during the show. We speak to the camera and we have a laugh in studio, but it's great that the conversation really becomes a two-way thing when we get to read the viewers' response and they are laughing along with us.
You too can be a part of the #1 TV show social media family on the continent, where you can take a peek behind the scenes and let us know how you feel about topics and stories on the show.
So if you're not part of our social media community yet, what are you waiting for? Please come and join the Expresso family. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. And we would love to have your voice join our daily conversations.
Don't miss Expresso weekday mornings 6:30 to 9 a.m. on SABC3. The stage is yours.
Welcome back. You tune into your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on SABC 3. Yes, it's a Feel Good Tuesday indeed. Right now, though, of course, the Golden Globes, it's on the lips of everyone. It took place not so long ago, recently, and we've got a full report for you as to what went down.
Absolutely, the 75th annual Golden Globes, and of course, seeing as so much happened on that one of entertainment's biggest nights of the industry, we just had to bring you some of the biggest highlights of the evening. So let's start off first by Big Little Lies, right, which was one of the biggest winners of the small screen. However, Handmaid's Tale took home the best drama beating out competition, including Game of Thrones, The Crown, Stranger Things, and This Is Us.
I love all of those series you just mentioned, so...
I would have never believed it if you would have told me last year that anything would ever beat Game of Thrones, but I guess I'm a throny like that, so...
I love This Is Us.
Yeah, well,
This Is Us is amazing.
It is, really, really good. Let's talk about comedy, though. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel won the honour there, and of course this category too had tough competition with the likes of Blackish, which is a great series, and Will and Grace also getting the nods in that category. Now, if you watched the show or you've seen the photos, you'd have noticed that black was definitely the colour of the night, and of course when it came to the fashion, that is. And this year it wasn't really about who you were wearing, but rather why, as the celebs donned black as a symbol of protest against sexual harassment and assault in Hollywood. That certainly took centre stage last year. We'll remember all of those reports and then people coming forward with their stories, and everyone showed solidarity by wearing all black.
And also part of that was gender equality. I mean, Kat Sandler, that used to work for E! Entertainment, she recently resigned because of inequality. So I think it was fairness for all. That was also what the black was representing.
And then you talk about a lady, cometh the hour, cometh the lady. Here she was. Oprah Winfrey made, I think, the biggest headlines. She stole the show as she made history by becoming the very first black woman to receive the iconic Cecil B. DeMille Award. And in light of the honour, she also gave a powerful and memorable speech.
So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon. And when that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again.
Goosebumps all over again.
Wow.
Oprah for president.
This, of course, prompted everyone around the world to start using hashtag Oprah 2020. They're literally seeing the vision of that new day on the horizon when Oprah might possibly run for presidency.
I think she should.
Could you imagine?
She should.
I think it would be like a landslide victory. But anyway, Oprah wasn't the only one with something to say. So too was Natalie Portman, who threw major shade at the fact that no women were nominated in the Best Direction categories. Take a look at this.
We are honored, bringing it back to this, to be here to present the award for Best Director.
And here are the all-male nominees.
I think she felt very awkward.
I was like, what do you do?
Whoa, okay, yeah, so clearly lots to talk about. But anyway, women weren't the only ones making history and change. Also making history is Aziz Ansari, who became the very first Asian American actor to win a Golden Globe for Best Leading Performance in a TV comedy for his series Master of None. And then also, like Zoe was saying, one of her favorites, This Is Us actor Sterling K. Brown also entered the record books by becoming the first black man to win the award for Best Actor in a TV drama, and he had quite an emotional speech for this historic moment.
What I appreciate so much about this thing is that I'm being seen for who I am and being appreciated for who I am. And it makes it that much more difficult to dismiss me or dismiss anybody who looks like me.
Wow. Have you seen This Is Us?
Yes, it's brilliant.
Dude.
It's absolutely brilliant. And he's brilliant in it as well.
Just the family structure, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story.
Good series.
Well, I mean, obviously when it comes to, when you look at that Natalie Portman moment and every other moment that was on the highlights of the Golden Globes, you never really know what happens or what will happen when it comes to these awards. And the award season has just kicked off. Plenty more to come, and I'm sure plenty of surprises. We are ready. We are so ready for it. Give us.
I feel like 2018 is the year for them to make statements like that. Rather, you know, let's set aside who wore what, but why we're wearing it.
But not just statements. Let's talk about action. Let's talk about change. Let's make it happen.
Well,
because a new day is on the horizon.
They are. A new day is definitely on the horizon. And one of those amazing summits is the One Young World Summit. And when it comes to Generation Y and Generation Z or Z, one thing that, you know, these generations growing up had in common is the rapid progression in technology. And most of them, if not all of them, has always had internet connectivity. So they see the power of social media, and when a summit like this comes together, they're going to use that for positive change.
The annual One Young World Summit is a gathering of talent from various organizations and world leaders to debate, formulate and share innovative solutions for the world's pressing issues. This year there was a lot of talk of the role of social media in creating positive change.
Jeray, it really is an honor and privilege to be able to chat to you. You're known for your social activism on social media platforms. What inspired you to get involved and start this?
So police in St. Louis killed a young man named Mike Brown, and that was the beginning of the movement for so many of us. And I was one of the people that went to Ferguson, St. Louis, because I knew that that was wrong. And I used Twitter as a way to help organize and as a way to spread messages and a way to galvanize people. I had 800 followers back then. I have close to 1 million now. And I think about Twitter as a friend that's always awake. So it was my way of processing the world, not just for myself, but also for other people.
So what are you currently working on at the moment?
One of the things that we know is that systems and structures change people's behaviors, but never change people's minds. So trying to figure out what are all the systemic and structural things that need to change so that people have more access, that prisons aren't as awful as they are, so that people aren't in prison. Like, what are the structural things that we need to change? And then what are the messages that we need to make sure that people have so that their minds change, their mindsets change? So working on some big projects around ending mass incarceration and giving people the concrete things that they can do and that should change in their cities or states or at the federal level. And also being creative about things like the racial wealth gap or public health or about the environment in ways that we've just not seen before. Creating platforms so that you can be an activist or you can be an engaged citizen, and you don't need to be a part of an organization. You don't need to talk to me or anybody else. Like, you have the information and to build that.
How do you think the youth of the world today can use social media platforms correctly to drive the change that they would like to see?
I think social media allows two things. One is for you to be connected to people who you don't physically need to be in proximity to. And the second is that it just accelerates the pace of information. So in one fell swoop, I can talk to 1 million people and spread a message in a way that was just impossible 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So I'm hopeful that the combination of those things will help spread messages and help get people awoke about these issues in ways that they weren't before. I also know that social media doesn't just replace offline organizing, that there will always need to be people who physically go to the meetings and physically sort of protest in the street and run for office. But the accelerated pace of which messages can travel now is just so powerful.
A portion of the summit was devoted to the use of social media for change and how youth can achieve their goals with digital platforms.
You're saying you've had success using different social media platforms. How do you think the youth of today can use social media to drive the change in their communities?
One thing I found was, though, using social media platforms, I kind of lost a lot of my audience. When I was doing like disposable content, like things like putting marshmallows in my mouth and stuff like that, it would do really well. However, when I'm doing stuff that has more meaning, I lost a lot. So then it made me sit back and analyze how can I approach the situation in a fresh perspective, and that's where poetry fitted into it. If you want to drive a change, you have to do it in the way that's most realist to you, because that's when the audience will engage with you. The audience online is the same as television. They will see through your facade and your fakeness and ulterior motives and hidden agendas. You just have to come straight, raw, and get to the point and deliver it the way you want it.
I think social media is an incredible way to reach people all over the world and also to listen to what people have to say. So for us, it's a great way that in which we get feedback from people and we know what people want, what people don't want, and also express conflicting ideas.
For me, the social media, I see it as an instrument of activism. I take it seriously.
Some other young people post nice things, they do all sort of things, but for me, it is an instrument. I'm a human rights lawyer. I'm not financially buoyant. It is hard for me to have access to the traditional media. So what do? I said it some days ago. A few megabytes can bring the change you want to see in the world. So my right in Article 19, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the right to freedom of expression, what I use Facebook to do is a tool to realize that right for me. So I would say that for every young person out there, just know that you can be the change you want to see in the world. Don't be scared to take out your initiative. We all could fail when we do things, but we just should never stop trying. Hope endures, keep doing what you're doing, and together we can make the world a peaceful place where everybody's rights are respected, protected, and fulfilled. So viva youth, viva.
Although the aim of the summit is to help delegates form a global network of young leaders, it also inspires young people to use their social media networks to offer help and spread messages of hope.
Well, it's wonderful to see young leaders from around the world coming together, making connections, and of course, trying to make a better future for everyone. And speaking about young leaders, achieving top marks in the country for the matric examinations is no easy task, but Janke van Dijk certainly makes it look easy. She's matriculated from Belleville High School and walked out of her matric year with the top position in the country for her results. Janke, that is absolutely incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How did you feel when you found out you are the top matriculant student for 2017?
Well, when they announced my name on Thursday night, I was so shocked. I'm still in shock. I can't believe it.
But I'm assuming you must have been, top of the grade, every grade, Dux students.
Yes, but this is on another level.
I
feel so honoured.
Oh, and is there anything you would do differently if you had to redo matric?
Actually, I don't think so. I think I'm happy with the way everything happened, and
I think a lot of people, going into matric, they're also probably thinking, what's your secret? Did you have a secret?
I think everyone has different study methods, but for me personally, I think the success just came from hard work and dedication. And what also helped me was to go through old question papers, so I could familiarise myself with the standard. And when the exams came around, I was kind of used to the type of questions they ask.
I also find, past papers really help because it gives you an understanding of the style in which, because it's one thing to study, but if you don't know how they will ask questions, that will definitely help you. Now, what are your plans for 2018?
Well, I'm blessed. I was so blessed to have been accepted to Stellenbosch University to study chemical engineering, and I'm very excited.
That's very exciting. And you know what? We are super excited for you. And I'm a former Marty student myself, so you'll definitely be having a wonderful time. And for those who are heading into matric, the class of 2018, do you have any advice or something special you would love to leave them with?
Well, I think this year is mainly about the academics, but the year flies by so quickly, and it's an absolute roller coaster. And I think that matrics just need to remember to have fun as well and make memories, take part in activities at school, go to the matric farewell, inter-schools, all that stuff.
Get involved as much as possible. Well, Janke, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Top student in South Africa, and we really look forward to seeing all the amazing things you'll be doing, and of course how our matriculants do this year, and of course the newly matriculated students as they continue to flourish and excel in their respective fields. Now, keep an eye out on the name Janke van Dijk, as I'm pretty sure she'll be doing some amazing things in the future.
Yeah, sisters are doing it for themselves, man. And speaking of which, John actually suggested quite a brilliant idea. Imagine a world where Oprah was the president of America and Beyonce was vice president. What? This is the man. He's the future. And we're talking about being optimistic about 2018 with this inspirational man.
Absolutely. Also celebrating the talent of our SA youngsters, the National Youth Orchestra. We'll shine the spotlight on them in just a sec.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. It's a Tuesday morning. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Expresso on SABC3. Hanging out with inspirational strategist and future innovator, John Sane. We're talking about being optimistic in 2018. And one thing I wanted to challenge your mind on is the concept of cryptocurrencies. We've heard about bitcoins and the like that are now worth millions of dollars. And are we looking at a world where this is the future we're moving into, or is it all just a scam to let us pay money into some foreign bank account and then whoop, there's nothing left? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's following a trend called the decentralization of power.
Yeah.
We're moving from a capitalist world to a sharing economy. And in this space, nobody owns anything. Governments don't own the powers that rule us, and currency is just one of them.
Yeah.
If you look at how major organizations are starting to crumble down to become smaller businesses and networked, currency is just an extension of that. So we're starting to see these currencies merge, and they're not actually the traditional currencies that we're used to. They're more like tokens.
Yeah.
So there's a very different way we need to approach them, and we can't categorize them as currencies per se.
Yeah, yeah. So you would say if I had 10 grand right now, I should invest it into Bitcoin?
I would say try and even get more money and put it in there. I think the trajectory of where it's going hasn't even started yet. And at Singularity University in San Francisco, people are just talking about buy and hold. This is just the beginning of a brand new economic system that's being born.
Okay, something worth thinking about. And then speaking about trajectory, let's talk about your thoughts on 2018 and future South Africa, the political climate right now, what we're looking at in terms of our economy, poverty, the droughts, and then linking that thought with what parents can advise their children on in terms of future-proof industries and viable industries for careers going forward, given what we've spoken about.
So I think first and foremost as parents, I think the most important thing we need to practice as parents is, there's a great saying that says your actions are louder than your words.
Yeah.
In other words, your actions are so loud I can't hear a word you're saying. So as parents, what sort of example are you putting forward to your children of trying new things, exposing yourself to the future, and molding your thinking around acting in a brand new way? If you're stuck in a job you hate, but then want your kids to be future-proofed, you're doing the wrong thing. Your actions aren't in line.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, parents need to check themselves to set an example. Second thing, anything to do with technology, anything that's got to do with the blockchain, with AI, with medtech and fintech, I would always suggest that parents put their kids out of school into a startup environment. Put them into a startup environment for them to start feeling what it feels like to be birthing new ideas and trying to get them off the ground, because I think that's the future. Entrepreneurship is definitely the way people need to be moving forward.
All right, cool. So I want a lot of people to buy your book because I really believe it holds a lot of wealth of information that we could learn from, especially about thriving in the modern disruptive world. What is your favorite chapter in What's Your Moonshot, your book?
I have a chapter, I want to make a joke about us thinking like victims.
Okay.
And I call it peeing in your nappy. And so what happens when, it's obviously a hypothetical story, but if you pee in your nappy, the first thing that happens is you feel warm and relieved. And so when you think like a victim, you feel warm and relieved. But really, you're powerless and smell like pee. And so what we need to do is we need to joke with ourselves when we find ourselves thinking like a victim.
Yeah.
When we start complaining about the government or only focusing on the negatives or things that are going around us, that makes us feel relieved but powerless.
Yeah.
And so I want people to start becoming more lighter about the negatives, because they'll always be there, whether you focus on them or not, and really start to focus our energies on the things that we can do to make South Africa better, greater, faster, rather than keep focusing on the negatives. I mean, it's tiring focusing on those things, and just because you don't focus on them doesn't mean they're going to go away or not go away, but let's focus on the things that we can do to uprise South Africa.
Yeah. So stop going in your nappy. Stop peeing
in your nappy.
Basically.
Yes.
Listen, if people want to book you and they want to see your talks, I know you're going to Dublin tonight and then you're on a world tour. Where can they find you on social media and see more of your talks about what we've been talking about?
So I share extensively. I vlog a lot on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook. So please follow me on those channels. Also my website, johnsane.com. My left brain, as I call her, or my PA, she pops up and she's engaging with all sorts of people that are wanting to book me for workshops, strategy sessions, or just to do book launches.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time and your inspiration in the year ahead. Good luck on your trip. Come back safely. And we hope that this was also enlightening for you. Check out the book. It is available at all reliable bookstores. It's called What's Your Moonshot by John Sane.
I love that. I hope you feel inspired and ready for 2018. Right now, though, shining the spotlight on our South African youth. Now, if you bring a talented group of South African youth from all across the country together for an incredible performance, you get the South African National Youth Orchestra. Now, recently, the group performed in Gauteng in partnership with the SABC Foundation to showcase just how diverse and talented this musical group is. Here they are. The South African National Youth Orchestra Foundation is the leader of the youth orchestral movement in the country and are inspiring youth to pursue standards of excellence.
The National Youth Orchestra is our national team, and that sets it apart from the others because it's really like the Protea, green and gold, the best musicians that we have from all our regional orchestras and from small towns too. So we do auditions across the country, and then we get these wonderful, wonderful musicians to come and play in our orchestra.
For their latest performances, the orchestra were under the baton of Sarah Iwanidis, who is making her South African debut.
This is an incredible orchestra to work with. I'm just thrilled to be here with the South African National Youth Orchestra. I've worked with a number of orchestras across the world, and this is a really unique experience for me to work with such dedicated, devoted musicians. They give me their full, complete dedication. They're completely focused. They are working so hard, and they're really incredibly talented. So what we're able to produce here in 1 week of rehearsals is absolutely phenomenal. This orchestra has such great diversity within it, and it's just wonderful to work with. Everybody in it comes from a beautiful country and a place that I've never been to before, but they all have the same spirit and work ethic, and they're all incredibly talented, and I'm really enjoying that experience with them. We have a great variety of music on this program. We're going to be playing Stravinsky's Pulcinella, Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 4, but also a world premiere of a fabulous South African composer called Matthias van Dijk, and it's a dance. And this is actually the first time that it will be heard publicly, ever.
The SA National Youth Orchestra recently partnered with the SABC Foundation. Through this partnership, the orchestra was given their performance and recording opportunity in Joburg, and youth from disadvantaged backgrounds received instruments to further their musical training and continue the proud legacy of the National Youth Orchestra.
The greatest part about Sanyo is that it allows for unity. This year we have over 60 music students across the country coming together and playing music, and you must understand people with different backgrounds that speak different languages, yet we come together and we play a language that we all know, which is music. Why people should come and support the Sanyo is because that we are young and the future is very important. Students need support from the public in order to progress and be motivated to play. There were times in my past when I just didn't want to play the trombone anymore, but through inspiration from my mentors and my parents and people of the public to watch the concerts that I play for makes it all the worthwhile.
The team from the South African National Youth Orchestra travels across the country to audition new orchestra members each year in March. If there's no available audition session in your area, you can also submit an audition via a recording. The application process is detailed on the orchestra's website, which is www.sanyo.org.za.
Back on the couch this morning with the lovely Olwethu Leshabane, a former Mrs. South Africa runner-up and also the founder of the Red Wings Project. Now, her latest endeavor has seen her partnering with India's Safe City to help reduce the high rape and sexual harassment rates in South Africa. Olwethu, it's great to have you back on the couch. And you know what, looking at the horrifying statistics of violence against women in South Africa, it's a scary number.
It is.
What is it about this cause that's so dear to your heart?
I think more than anything, like I said, Red Wings Project is all about the holistic looking after young women and women in general in our society. It's not an isolated affair. We need to look at all areas where women are affected and the progress of women is hampered, which is one of them being Safe City.
What is Safe City? I've never heard of them, so can you give us a little bit of a background on how it works?
So Safe City is a crowdsourcing-based app where women can report harassment, sexual assault and abuse wherever they are. So you literally tag your location, you tell us what happened in that particular location, and we look at then crowdsourcing and looking at where are the prevalent areas where abuse is happening, where sexual harassment is happening, where women are being catcalled, and then we go speak to the police to be able to have more presence in particular areas, or to have more security in particular areas, or to be aware where, you know, if somebody's in Cape Town, they want to go to a particular area, you go on to Safe City and you see, is sexual harassment prevalent there? Is abuse prevalent there? Are we being catcalled and grabbed in that area? And we know what to look out for.
I know. I love how, you know, by sourcing that data, they'll be able to put different measurements in place. And it's seen success in India. Do you think it's going to work in South Africa?
I definitely do. I think the police could do with a lot of help with regards to seeking out and looking for areas of sexual harassment and abuse. Especially, you know, in places such as Long Street in Cape Town, in the city in Johannesburg, and women are not aware of what is sexual harassment, what constitutes abuse. Being catcalled, I can actually report being catcalled at a police station.
It's not okay.
It's not okay.
Yeah.
It's not a compliment to be catcalled while walking in the mall and in a public space. And for as long as we don't raise that awareness and we stop normalizing this behavior, men then move on to the next level.
I can only assume with it being an app, there is a level of, you know, you can stay anonymous, I believe.
You can stay anonymous. You can write your story and then decide that I want to come back and actually report the crime. You print out your story. You go and you attach it to your to your police statement at the police station, and there you are. You filed your docket and hold somebody accountable. And it's about moving the victim blaming into perpetrator accountability.
I really, really love that. And it's something you can do off, you know, with the touch of a button on your phone.
Exactly.
It's easily accessible. And for people that want to know more about this and want to, you know, access Safe City, how can they do that?
Download the Safe City app. We're also going to be creating a South African domain where we are going to be having the sexual harassment laws and guidelines, etc., and regulations up on that website. Download the app. Email us info@redwingsproject.com for more information and to be in touch with us as to what else we can assist you with. If you want to stay anonymous, you don't feel like using the app, email us as well, and we can see where we can allocate you maybe a service provider in your area, a police station in your area, a safe space in your area, as well as a therapist in the area who can help you or deal with the trauma that you've been through.
Okay, well, all the way to this is absolutely incredible and really changing the way in which people can report these incidences. So thank you so much for coming on board and showing us what Safe City is all about and for doing what you're doing. I think it's absolutely incredible.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share.
Thank you. And we've got the information for you on our screen right now. If you need more information, you can check out the safety and security and help spread and stop violence against women and children. But don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break on your Feel Good Breakfast show.
my feel-good breakfast show.
Ah, man, it's been a wonderful Tuesday, and I hope that you have been inspired by the many cool stories we've shared.
Yeah.
Like John Sane, he's great.
He's brilliant,
He's a great mind. We talked One Young World.
So don't pee in your nappy, eh?
Don't pee in your
Don't
nappy.
pee in your nappy. Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Listen, thank you very much. Cara Fru's here. She's performing for us tomorrow. We're also bringing some parenting advice on back to school. It's almost back to school time, but all of that's a whole lot more tomorrow. Enjoy your Tuesday, fam.
Hashtag don't pee in your nappy.
Yeah, don't.
Okay, bye.
Expresso Morning Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.